Hello, welcome to Xbox. It's really off-putting, Doomy. Hello, welcome to Xbox Infinite Podcast, episode 42. We have an awesome show for you this week. So much has happened. What's happened? We've had Halo news. We've had Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan shooting at each other from across the parapet. We've had PlayStation Showcase, ID and Xbox Showcase, Tokyo Games, Deathloop, and we've got MAGG and Footed Ghost. Let me go into the intros. This is going to be absolutely nuts. I am super psyched for this show. I've already had an hour and a half sleep, and I'm still excited. Footed Ghost, man, welcome to the show. How you doing? What have you been up to? I know what you've been playing. And wow, what a week for Halo.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, first and foremost. I'm very, very excited to hear all your thoughts on the recent news that's happened with 343 and Halo Infinite. But yeah, I've been playing Halo Infinite a lot lately with the Yappening event. It's been good fun. And good news too, that's staying on, so that's something to be excited about going forward. But yeah, man, I'm pumped. I'm excited to talk about this.
Absolutely awesome. I haven't, I've slipped into that I'm not playing it until you give me content phase. So now we got content. I will probably go back. So I'm super stoked for that. MAGG, welcome to the show. If you guys don't know MAGG, and I'm sure you do, this man makes some of the funniest Twitter content you have ever seen. And it's just great to have you on the show, man, and get your takes. How you doing? What have you been up to? What have you been playing, sir?
Well, you know what? Thank you very much for having me on the show, guys. Chat, I see a lot of familiar faces down there. And it's, of course, guys, everybody on this panel here, absolutely wonderful to do this show with you guys tonight. Yes, what have I been up to? Besides making ridiculous videos, what a fraud I am. I platinumed The Last of Us remake just the other day. Well, I had COVID last week, right? So I was home for 5 days, well, 6 days, and I was just lying in bed. So I'm like, well, might as well play some games. So actually, Mr. Boomstick XL bought me The Last of Us remake. And so he bought me that, and then I played that. I platinumed that. I played Stray. I don't know if anybody's played Stray yet. You know, the one with the cat?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep.
Excellent game. Let me tell you something. It's about a 7 to 10 hour experience. Absolutely magnificent. And now I moved on to, I can't believe it, Infamous Second Son. Now, the first two Infamous games I platinumed, but I never played Second Son. It just skipped through because I didn't get a PS4 at launch. I got the Xbox One at launch. So I missed the game. So now I've got my PS Plus or whatever, and it's sitting right there. Game is amazing. It's like 10 years old in the game, or 9 years old, whatever it is. The game is still incredible. Anyways, besides that, I look forward to be turning my Xbox back on because I've been going on a PlayStation run the last couple of months with the PS5. I'm going back to Xbox in a couple of weeks because guess what, baby? It's going to be Game Pass time. It's going to be Modern Warfare time. Okay, we got a lot going on. We got a lot to do. We've had a lot of crazy stuff going on in the community this week, of course. Let's get right into this, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. We definitely do. I'm like you, actually, the last couple of weeks. I've been sitting a lot on PlayStation, finishing The Last of Us. I didn't platinum it because, oh, God, that would be painful. And I did play Stray.
Oh, no, it's worth it, man.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
I did play Stray, but it was all right.
Oh, it didn't do it for you?
It was all right. You know,
you know what? At first, I was like, it's all right. I'm like, yeah, all right. It's just a cat walking around. I could do that in my house. I could watch my cat walk around for free, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let me just check this out. I started getting about 3 hours in. I was like, you know what? This game's pretty damn good. It gets better. And the story is so wacky and so, like, it's very Japanese, even though it's not a Japanese-made game. The story is very Japanese, and what I mean by that is that all their stuff is completely insane. Mm-hmm. Okay, like if you play any Japanese game, the story is so nonsensical and usually stupid and just absolutely insane. You're just like, who comes up with this crap? Like, you know what I mean?
So
it's like the dumbest
I played through it, man.
In your life.
Yeah,
I played through it myself. I beat it in like 3 hours, and then I had to go back and I beat it 3 times. So I beat it 3 hours, and I went back to try to get the beat it within 2 hours thing. I beat it in 2 hours and 1 minute. I was mad as hell. Didn't get it. Had to do it one more time. I beat it in an hour and like 30.
Wow, that's crazy. See, I didn't go for the platinum for that. By the way, chat, I see what you're saying. Call it risky. They're calling you a pony in there because you've been playing your PlayStation.
Yeah, yeah. It's you
know, it's funny.
It's gaming's gaming, man.
Skywalker there. He's just like, MAGG, I just saw you on Crossfire. I'm like, yeah, I was just on Crossfire like literally 20 minutes ago. Oh, yeah, it's crazy that I'm over here now. But, hey, I'm moving around. Actually, on Monday, I'm going to be doing a show with Colt Eastwood. So It's going to be myself, Colt Eastwood, and Gaz from Game On Daily. So we're doing a big
nice.
show on Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
cool.
going to be a really big
You
show.
and Gas together has got to be a crazy, combination.
Umbra, it is always crazy when we get together. And Colt and I, Colt and I are going to LA together for E3 this year. So, well, not
Nice.
together. It's not like we're going as a date. He's going and I'm going. So I'm just saying.
Oh,
we're
that's
both going to E3, so-
adorable.
Oh.
Yeah, we should go as a couple. Yeah.
Candles and stuff.
Thanks, Doom.
Look, I'll introduce
Very
the rest
well.
of the panel and look, we'll rip into it. But yeah, it's absolutely great to have you guys on the show, Footed and Mag. DoomCutie, welcome back. How's your week been? What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? This week I haven't had much diversity in regards to my gaming because I've been sucked into the absolute heaven that is Disney Dreamlight Valley. And I know it's not all your vibe. I know that.
Terrible.
anyone-
Terrible. Oh, sorry. It's got a sneeze happening.
Look, it's on Game Pass, okay? I didn't have to buy the Founders Edition, which was like $130.
Wow.
I just get to play it because I play on Xbox, which is amazing. But anyone who has actually played it will tell you that it is so much fun and it's like Disney characters and it's cozy and it's just so cute. Oh my God. Anyway, so yes, that's all I've been playing. Sorry, not sorry.
Awesome. I would, yeah, no, well, it sounds like it's a enjoyable game. Pete, how you doing? Welcome back to the show.
Well.
What have you been up to? What have you been playing? How's things been?
Yeah, great. Been playing Immortals Phoenix Rising. I'm still absolutely loving that game. I downloaded Wulong. Wulong's got a demo out, guys. So if you want to check it out, it's about 22 gigs. It's live on Xbox and PlayStation at the moment. It's free to download. Check it out. I gave it a little bit of a go last night.
Hang on a minute. I thought that was just on PS Plus and you couldn't get it on Xbox. My bad. I must have.
That's what I heard
Yeah.
too. But amazingly, it is on Xbox as well, and I believe it's coming to Game Pass. So yeah, check it out, guys.
It is.
It's a really good game. That's about all I've been playing. Really, really looking forward to this. Amazing guest. Great to have Footed Ghost on, who just hit 25k on YouTube. So congratulate him, guys. That's an amazing number, and he deserves every
Thanks,
single
mate.
one of
Appreciate
his
it.
subs. And Mag, I just started following Mag on Twitter, and I've got years of amazing content, laugh out loud content to catch up with. So just awesome. So really looking
It's going
forward
to
to the
keep
show.
coming.
Umbra, welcome back. How's your week been? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? How's things?
Oh, everything's good. I've been playing a bunch of things. I've got on Ni no Kuni, which it's my first time actually playing now that they brought it over. By the way, guys, my PC is acting up. I'm not sure what the situation is, so you have to hear this beautiful melanated voice through this phone, unfortunately. So Ni no Kuni, I jumped on that, played a bit of Halo. I've been playing Mad Max again, and I also started up Wolong, the demo, and got about a good hour of that. So yeah, I'm going to go back on that after this. Want to thank you guys for coming through, Mag and Ghost. So appreciate you guys coming through, Mag. I know you've been super busy too, brother. So definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Of course.
No worries, man.
And I wanted to say, of course, Ghost, congrats on the 25K. Pete stole that from me. So I just wanted to say,
No, I do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And Mag just recovered from COVID as well. So, yeah, we really do appreciate you coming on the show. And Footed, Halo Royalty. Wow, coming on the show. 25K, man. Congratulations. I did say it in the green room, but I'll say it again. Look, we'll move into the first topic, which, of course, has to be about Disney Dreamlight Valley. No, only kidding. Has to be Halo.
Yes.
Has to be Halo Infinite, man. And what a week. Wow. Let's rip straight into it. So Bonnie Ross, if you guys don't know, I'm sure that most people do know, but Bonnie Ross has stepped down from her position. She put out a tweet and she said, while I had hoped to stay with Halo until we release the winter update, I am letting you know I will be leaving 343 and attending to a family medical issue. I'm incredibly proud. I am incredibly proud of the work everyone at 343 Industries has done with Halo Infinite, the Master Chief Collection, the Halo television series, and so much more. It has been an honor to serve alongside the team for the last 15 years and to be a part of the universe that I love. Thank you to everyone in the Halo community for your support. Halo's future is bright. I cannot wait for all of you to experience what we have in store and to cheer alongside you as a fan at the Halo World Championship in October. Let me just say this. We have made no secret bones, especially myself, about our thoughts on Bonnie Ross stepping down. The manner in which she has stepped down, whether it be true or not, is unfortunate. And I don't wish that anyone lose their job. That is never something that I want. And so while I think in the end it is a positive move for Halo and the right decision for the franchise going forward, it is always sad to see someone who has put so much love, time, and effort, and even saved the franchise. You've got to give her that as well, because without her, there would not have been a Halo. And so I just wanted to put that out there because I have been extremely harsh on Bonnie in the past. And to be honest, I didn't really think she'd leave, So whilst I am I feel a little bit bad about a lot of the stuff I've said, I still, at the end of the day, I stand by it. It is the best thing for the franchise, and it's just an unfortunate way in which she left. And look, I'm going to go obviously over to Footed with this one and to the panel. And there's a lot more to unpack that happened with Halo Infinite this week. I mean, they restructured after her leaving, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And the MCC cancelled all of their microtransactions, which I think, again, is another positive move. And then just so recently, they have added the Yappening, which is the new event. I haven't played it yet. I do want to check it out, but I've heard only good things, mostly from Pete. But Pete is a Halo stan, so I don't know if he can be trusted. That it is staying within the playlist. So that's pretty exciting. Look, Footed Ghost, I want to go to you on your thoughts about Bonnie Ross leaving. Do you think it's probably the best move for the franchise? Let's all talk from a position of, obviously, we'll be respectful, as it's not good that someone's leaving their job. But if we can put that aside and just think about the franchise itself, what are your thoughts on Bonnie Ross moving on and stepping down?
So no, I definitely think it's the right move and the right time for her to leave. Again, like I said, terrible that she had to leave in the circumstance and like the way she did. But is it the right step for Halo? I do think so, because she's been there, really since 2010, since it was created. And if we look at it, technically she has failed more than 3 times. MCC has turned into a fantastic project and fantastic game as it is now. But that was because it was rescued by P. Heinze, who is the new studio head at 343. And that man, he's a really good leader. He got a bunch of people together over at 343 to fix that game. And they were able to do that in 2018. And, giving him the reins, I think, is the right decision. Because they got to get Halo Infinite back up and running, where, content is coming in at a smooth rate. Because right now, I'm sure you guys have seen the roadmap. A lot of the content isn't coming until, of course, November for the winter update. But then after that, it's a 5-month wait for Season 3. So after that point, I'm hoping we can really start to see content come every 3 months and at a steady pace. So we're not waiting like crazy amounts of time to see anything new come to the game. That's been the biggest issue. But yeah, Bonnie Ross, I think it's the right move. I think she needed to go. But also, in a normal job, if you if you're not very good at your job, 9 times out of 10, you won't really last very long. So yeah, I think it is the right move that she has left.
Yeah, it is kind of sad in the way in which she did leave, and whether that's true or not, right. I don't know. We've seen this before. We're leaving for a medical reason, and then hey, I've got a new job over here. So that may also be true. I guess we've got to kind of keep that, under in the back of our minds that's also a possibility. But it's also goes to the fact that we have issues at Microsoft with management. We hear that all the time. Everyone says it. I think on both sides of the fence, PlayStation, Xbox, and everyone in between. And this, look, I've been saying for the longest time, you're seeing delays, you're seeing things happen with games. These are all hangovers from the previous Microsoft. It takes a long time to get things sorted. And I think this is just a kind of positive management move. This does say to me that Microsoft is, it's taking their management issues seriously and trying to work through the MAGG. I want to go to you. What were your thoughts on Bonnie Ross stepping out the door? I think it was after 25 years, a very long time.
It was, maybe it was 18. I don't know, whatever it was. The thing is, listen, what happened to her And I've also been very critical in the past as well, right? But however, what's happened to her, I would not wish that on my worst enemy, right? Everybody's going to go through trials and tribulations, especially with family, with health, all that kind of thing. So you know what? God bless. I hope that everything works out for her. And you know what I mean? When it gets to personal stuff, that's where you got to drop it and just be like, hey, at the end of the day, we're all human. Let her go. Let her. You know what I'm saying? Let her go. Let her go do her thing. Now, that being said, my biggest problem is not Bonnie Ross per se. I know it's easy to put it. Trust me, I know. I'm a CEO of my division in the corporation that I'm working at. There's always a target on my back, right? No matter what you do, no matter how hard you work. You work 16-hour days, 12-hour days, 18-hour days, or you're in bed and you're still answering phone calls, okay? The regular people don't see that. The minute something messes up, the first person they go to attack is you. And you know why? Because they're not doing half of what you're doing. So I understand that. I understand how that works. However, there is a culture at 343 where they can't get the job done. And that is the way I look at it. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings, but that's the way I see it. They're like when Halo Master Chief Collection came out, my son was in diapers. By the time they finished the game, he was going to high school. Okay, so like how many years does it take to get these games off the ground, getting ready? I know I'm going to totally piss somebody off for saying all this stuff. But the thing is, that's the reality of it. Halo 4, on the other hand, actually, I thought Halo 4 was a polished, fantastic game, personally. And I actually really enjoyed Halo 5. But somewhere in the mix between Halo 5 and the Master Chief Collection is when things started to fall apart. Now, think about this for 1 second. I was just talking about this with Mooch an hour ago. Okay? The number of staff at 343 is more than all the different studios that work on Call of Duty combined. They can't launch one game, yet Call of Duty can crank out games every year with new maps, new this, new content. I know a lot of people say it's cookie cutter or whatever, but it's still new maps. It's still different things. It's still different things to look at, different areas to play, all that kind of stuff. They're still cranking out content. And then, of course, on top of that, they got Warzone with seasons coming out every 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is, right? So you got to look at that. And you got to look at how about this? If you launch as a game as a service and say, oh, there's going to be a 10-year game or whatever, we all knew that was going to come even before they announced that it was going to be, because we heard rumblings about that, right? Here's the thing. If you are going to make an announcement like that saying we're going to be a live service in it and there's nothing live, then what are you doing? Don't say that. Like, for example, your competition is Apex Legends, Warzone, Fortnite. They are launching seasons regularly. Okay? And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, just wait, and then they'll get their stuff under control. Oh, just wait. And how long are you going to wait? The problem is gamers, and let's not forget, consumers are very fickle, okay? They're going to bring their money and attention to the new hotness. They're not going to sit around and wait for Halo forever. As you can see that on Steam, there are 180 times more people playing Apex Legends on Steam than concurrent players playing on Halo. That is awful, considering that there's 150 million people on Steam plus. Okay, that is a sad truth. And that is why people now, and never mind the fact that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the demo, no, not the demo, but the beta dropped, and then of course the game's going to drop in less than a month. Are you insane? And you're not launching content to battle this? You're dead. You're dead in the water. Yeah, you'll come back a little bit, but the only people that are going to come back are not going to be the mainstream people. It's going to be the hardcore. It's going to be the footed ghosts, all right, who make content on it and everything for YouTube and everything, and for himself, and of course, loving the game. I love the game. Okay, I love the game. I loved Infinite. I thought the story, I thought the campaign was amazing. I thought the multiplayer was amazing. Okay, I loved both of it. I had a great time with the community playing it. However, playing 3 maps for 7 months, I'm sorry, guys, it gets a little tiresome. Like, come on. If you're doing a live games as a service and you're launching it with Game Pass, you've got to have the content. What is going on? Are they playing ping pong in the activity room? Are they reading poetry in hammocks? What are they doing? Are they not working? You've got 1,000 developers and you can't get your stuff together. It is remarkable to me that they can't get it together. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel about it. Like I said, Call of Duty, Titanfall, Apex, Fortnite, they've got less than half of the amount of people working in there. Oh, Destiny, let's not forget Destiny, Bungie, okay? They are crushing content. And these guys can't get this thing off the ground. And by the time, and I fear, which is sad because, I mean, I feel bad for them because they're putting in a lot of effort, a lot of work in here, and a lot of money. And the product is actually good. But the problem is I fear that by the time they get their shit together, it's too late.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my feeling.
Yeah, look,
That's the problem.
I'm going to throw something out into the chat there, just so you guys know, we are not Halo haters, none of us, especially me.
No, not at all.
Especially Pete. No, I would imagine that Footed Ghost extremely not. I know Umbra, and I know even Doomy. You can see Doomy on the screen playing with co-op with us right now. We are not Halo haters. We don't hate it. All of this comes from a place of love. Like, we want this game to succeed and be its best it can be, and at the moment, it is not being its best it can be. Look, Pete, I'm going to jump it over to you, and guys, feel free to jump in. If something does tickle your fancy. But look, something was said a couple of days ago that Bonnie was lied to. That she didn't know what was going on, and I believe I'll credit Mint Blitz. I think it was him saying so. To me, that's just an absolute crock of bullshit. She should be stepping down from on high. She's got a lot of shit to deal with. I know they've split her role into 3 different sections now, 3 different roles. And I get that. But you are launching a tentpole title. You need to know what's going on with that game. When they went to launch and release that initial trailer before they had that year delay, she had obviously not even checked the game out. Like, surely she would have seen that and gone, whoa, hang on. You know, like, I don't think that you can get away with this whole she was lied to and it's not her fault, because that's bullshit. No CEOs work like that. I'm sure if someone lied to MAGG, he would probably go down there, check it out and be like, hang on a minute, man. I think you're lying to me. Pete, what are your thoughts on Bonnie Ross stepping down? And do you think she's been unfairly blamed mostly by me, or do you think that this is just something that needed to happen?
I'm happy that Bonnie Ross is leaving. I think that every company needs change for every now and then. I will credit Bonnie Ross with the vision that she had in creating 343. Otherwise, who knows where Halo would be? They were planning to basically ship it off to a third-party developer and, let the game progress that way. I actually think the vision that they had for 343 was the right direction. I really do, and I do credit her with that, and her passion for the game got everyone excited, and it sold Microsoft on the idea of 343. The idea is excellent. She's quoted as saying that she wants to have full autonomy over it. She wants to be basically the George Lucas overseeing everything, and it's an excellent idea. I just think over the years she maybe spread herself a little bit too thin. Breaking down her role into 3 different positions, I think, really shows that. And I have a feeling what happened is she just had to delegate too much because they were doing all these things with the IP at the time that Infinite was being developed. They were creating the engine at the same time. They were selling the IP to make the TV show, and they were doing a brand new live service model, which they've never done before. And I think all these things culminated into, what we're seeing today with the lack of content. Now, bear in mind, Halo Infinite launched, I think, at an 87 on Metacritic, so it was pretty widely praised when it was released, and it's an extremely fun game to play, and I think the gameplay loop is better than we've seen in any other Halo titles. So all this comes from a place of love. We love Halo. We just want better for Halo, and Mag's absolutely right. What are they doing over there? How come there are no maps? It boggles the mind. This game has been out for this long and we just don't have any more content as it. That's something that I just can't get over. Someone needs to explain it to me. That's why the rumor mill just, is constantly going with, is it the engine? Is it, nobody really knows the answer to the question. I personally think it's the engine. I think the engine is fundamentally broken, and you've pointed it out many times, Trisket, where it's the contractors that built the engine, and then they're not allowed to work there for longer than 10 months. And we've spoken about this before many times. And then they have to bring in new people that then have to be taught on the engine. By the time they're up to scratch on it,
then they're gone again. Yeah.
Exactly. And it seems that every time they implement some sort of change into Halo, something else breaks. And I think I was having a conversation with one bad mother, and he was speaking to someone in the background that previously worked for 343. The tech deck in this engine it's crazy. Yeah, I mean it's basically just
Duct tape and chewing gum.
Duct tape together. Exactly.
Like Halo
Why
2.
can't they just jump it for Unreal 5 then get the
Well-
coalition to work on us?
Well,
I don't think they can, because
we
of
also
Forge.
had a conversation about this. I think Xbox and Microsoft believe that they're way too reliant on Unreal Engine, and I do tend to agree with that. I think that if they can get this engine up and running, and it's a big if at this point in time, I think basically you'd have to start all over again if you were to do that. Now,
It's already been years anyway. You might as well at this point. Like, Jesus Christ, it's been 2020, 2021, then 2022.
Yeah,
now
but
they're
see,
asking us
Mag-
to wait till 2023.
Mag,
Already.
I'll push back on that, man, because at this point you're too far into, you've released.
Fair enough.
You're too far into it, and you're too deep into the game. I think now developing, there was a few questions, and look, I'll move on to the panel, but this is something that I'm passionate about, so I'm going to speak on it. You're too far into the development of the game, and yeah, they are still developing the game because they're still putting out content. So to me, that's developing the game. You've released. There's all this bad press. What if they pull back now and go, right now we're going to do a whole different game? We're going to reboot Halo in a new game. We're going to take developers from Infinite, and now we're going to put them on a new game. We're going to use a new engine. That's going to be a whole lot of development time, learning, all that shit that you've got to do to get a new game out the door. And then what suffers? Halo Infinite again. It would just be another way that Halo Infinite suffers. I think it's probably the worst.
Basically, they got to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I asked
what
this
is it saying
question
when
on
you're in hell?
RDX as well. Do they
Keep
just
going. Yeah,
drop everything
exactly.
and
There you
or refresh and make Halo 7? I don't know the answer to that question. All I know is if I love the gameplay loop of Halo Infinite, and if they can get it right, and I'm not working in there, I'm not like I don't know if the tech deck can be fixed. I don't know if this engine can
Dude, you told me you were a developer. What the hell? No.
But Peter, the thing is, the game fundamentally is, to me, the game is fundamentally flawless.
Yeah.
It plays flawlessly. That's not the issue. The issue is that, like, for example, by the way, I looked it up. There are 750 employees as of 2022 at 343. The game was also co-developed by assistance by Skybox Labs, Sparasoft, the Coalition, Certain Affinity, and Atom Hawk. That pushes them over 13 to 1,400 people. You can't squeeze out a few maps every couple of months?
Yeah.
That's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
We're not asking
Just
you
to,
to reinvent
just
the
to add to
wheel.
the Mag, I think those numbers, I think it's a bit fudged because I think those were like the contractors who were given like a limited time.
Sure,
I think
yes,
they're
that's what you guys
official.
were talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think their
here's the
official
thing,
number is like around 450, but I do agree with you. You have that many people working on it, and that's standard, by the way. If anybody doesn't know, for any of these AAA games, I mean, The Last of Us had like 2,000 people working on it, so things like that happens. But I agree with you. There's no excuse really for that to happen, and with much love and respect to Bunny as far as her fighting for Halo to keep it on the platform, and for Microsoft to buy that to acquire that the IP. And to form a studio for it. The thing is that it's gone astray here and there, and it's unfortunate because Halo 4 had a great story. We know the routine. Great story,
I loved
bad
all of them.
story, and I had love for them. Like 5 went astray story wise, but multiplayer was great.
I
Infinite
still
is
thought the
there,
game
like you
fun-
said.
Even if you didn't
I'm
like the
sorry.
story of like Locke and Master Chief, or even for 5, right? But the game
Right.
on a fundamental level was still an excellent quality game. It was an excellent quality first-person shooter game that was, the mechanics were excellent. Shout out to Dealer Gaming, by the way. Anyways, sorry, he's in the chat.
Yeah.
So the game.
Get
we're
outta
not
here,
asking
dealer.
anybody to- yeah, right. We're not asking anybody to reinvent the wheel. Okay, the game works perfectly fine. It's just the content. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And Mag,
There's nothing
they
wrong
also
with the way
went
it
to a live
plays.
service model, and they also changed it to an open world game. So a lot of stuff changed between what they did for 4 and 5 and what they did with Infinite. So yeah, look, I
That's true,
agree.
too.
I do agree that they are great games in their own right, although I really think they went astray with 5. They are great games in their own right, but they're very different in the way they're built.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah,
I'm gonna jump over to Cutie because we haven't got her thoughts on it yet, and then I'll open it up even further and let you guys continue having at it over Halo. But Cutie, I wanted to know your thoughts on Bonnie Ross stepping down, and I thought I might get a bit more of a sensitive kind of view because we're all obviously brutes and we just want our game to be good, and we don't care, if Bonnie Ross's feelings are hurt. But look, what do you think, of Bonnie Ross stepping down, and do you think that it's just time and that Halo kind of deserves a better leader, or do you think that Bonnie Ross has probably gotten a bit of an unfair shake and stepping down is just extremely unfortunate?
I think there's just been so much pressure on her over the last few years, and I really feel for her because she's been there for so long. She loves Halo. She loves the story. She's obviously had many pressures from lots and lots of different sides, whether it be the game moving to live service, the demand for that, the demand to compete with games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, and then plus, the things that she wanted to implement in the game, and then, obviously TV series and all that stuff. It's just, I can just imagine. And the fact that 3 people now need to replace her is just mind-boggling. Like, yeah. I think about her as, well, she has always been, this power woman up there with, Sarah Bond in regards to females in leadership roles in gaming, and she will be missed. I think there's a hole there that I don't think can be filled, and yeah, look, I think overall it will mean good things for Halo in the sense of there'll be more people working on it. They'll realize that, hey, one person can't do everything. So yeah, those are my thoughts. And look, we all want to play a good game, but I know that people want to make the most. Like, from a business point of view, they want to make the most out of Halo. They want to do everything. They want to compete. And unfortunately, over time, Bonnie Ross's position, her role has changed. And in order for someone or one person alone to do that role effectively, they would need additional help. So, look, I really wish her all the best, her family all the best with whatever's going on. And, I mean, I hope to see other women stepping up in leadership roles in gaming in regards to Halo.
Absolutely, but not if
I'll say this really quick.
Do you think they should move on to away from Halo Infinite and move over to Halo 7? Or do you think that they should continue on the path they're at with this 10-year life cycle of Halo Infinite and try and fix the game as it stands?
Gosh, no, because I'm personally invested in Halo Infinite. I want to see it come to fruition. So no. If they.
What about you, Footed?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's too much that they've done with Halo Infinite, and I think the majority of people, as you guys said, you enjoy the game. You enjoy the gameplay experience. I've seen a ton of leaks for this game and what's coming in the future that have me very, very excited. The only problem, as Mag was saying earlier, is that they're taking forever to release that content, the maps, weapons, all that sort of stuff. But I've seen the leaks, a lot of stuff that probably won't be coming until late next year. And a lot of that stuff is awesome, just awesome. And if they can get that out, I still think a lot of people will be over the moon when they see that content. So I think they should stick with it.
Do you think they're holding the content back?
Hang on, I was literally about to ask that question, Pete, but I was going to expand on it because do you think that they are holding content back? That was going to be the first thing. What I was going to say was we've seen them glitch into split screen. Like Pete brought that to our attention yesterday, and I watched that, Pete, and that's absolutely nuts. Digital Foundry did a thing on it, like where you can basically glitch the game into split screen, but they have announced co-op split screen they've stopped working on it. That's it. It's gone. The feature's gone. Something that's existed in Halo from day one. Probably the thing that made Halo, almost, is gone from the game, but it's there, and it's pretty solid. What the fuck is going on over there, Footed? I got to ask.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, if you watch the video, right, they were showing that even on the Xbox One, it does work. A little bit choppy, but Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, it works pretty darn smoothly. So the only issue I think they encountered was during boss fights, where one player would like spawn onto the map. But everything else, open world, tac map, solo missions, or like the normal missions,
Cutscenes.
it works flawlessly. Yeah, cutscenes work as well. So it's pretty crazy, and you have to think like, how close were they to having that perfect? Or, you know, why at the end of the day they said they were trying to, you know, reshift like devs to focus on other resources and other things coming to the game in a future date. But if this was so close to being ready, why not just, you know, get the people that need to get on it, finish it, and release it like you had first promised before Halo Infinite's launch? It is confusing.
It's extremely confusing.
Yeah, I don't understand that if it's that close to be ready. I mean, there seems to be a little bit of a problem with the day-night cycle. Sometimes you need to the worst problem that they seem to have had is the corruption of your save files. But I mean, that's got to be able to be fixed. And if that does happen, you need to basically start the game all over again. So that would be the number one issue you'd need to work on. But in terms of how close it was, I just don't understand why they dropped it. There must be something else. Look at us. We're playing Halo on screen, and you can all see Ristic getting killed and then teabagged constantly. So, you know, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and split screen just adds to that. You know, it allows the people that don't have two TVs together to play together. It's a legacy title that's always been there since day one, and it should be there in Infinite, especially after it was promised to the community.
Yeah, I just want to add that what I do is lull them into a false sense of security by allowing them to teabag me. And then later on, we won't be playing that part of the video, but later on, I really give it to them. Umbra, I just wanted to go, to you and just get your thoughts on this as a whole. I mean, let's really open this up because there's a bit of a lot going on with Halo. They've dropped microtransactions out of MCC, which is an absolutely fantastic move. The restructuring, Cutie, you're absolutely right. It really does show you how hard Bonnie Ross was pulled in many different directions, and she probably did have a lot on her plate. And I don't think she does get her due. I 110% agree with that. But I also think she made some horrifically bad moves. Like blaming the community. That was one where I absolutely lost it.
So my thing on the risk is this. As far as I'm of two minds when it comes to Bunny Ross. I'm of the mind of two thoughts, rather. So I think it shows how much she had on her plate to a degree that, you know, so much she was handling that they had to split it into three different positions. And then I'm of a conspiratorial mind, where it's been talked from the fan base that because of her tenure with Microsoft for so long and the connections that she has, that they weren't so quick to try to remove her. And then, and let's be honest, I think there's the whole, removing a woman of power from power position. I think that possibly plays into it as well. So I think they maybe didn't want to rush that, especially after she had won, I think, awards and things like that as well. So I'm of that mind as well. And I feel like maybe...
but you know what? They probably realized they couldn't replace her.
Really quick. So I think I'm of that mind as well, but it's just conspiratorial, I'm saying, on that second part. But I think that because of that, I wonder if it's a matter of Pete Hines and the other two who are coming in, that it's more in their field that they can handle versus him by himself. So I'm wondering how that all plays out. But as we know, he's been instrumental in bringing back the MCC. So I am hopeful for the franchise going forward when it comes to that situation. And let's not beat around the bush. I wish her and her family the best. But we have been on a drum of replacing Bonnie Ross for months. I think a year. At least, as we talked about it on the podcast. So, I do wish her the best, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like, oh no, Bunny is going. No, I'm not. I think she needed to go. And it's not just her, as many of us have spoken, even Hargeet pointed out in the chat. It has to reach up to Matt Booty and Phil too, to some degree. And that's the issue I had with them. And I think we can all agree, once we went back to that showcase, when they finally showcased it, it was like we were excited because we're Halo fans, and you're seeing Halo, and you're like, oh man, hey, it's Halo Infinite. Okay, we get to see gameplay. But after you settled and you saw, you were like, wait a minute, you saw this issue, you saw that issue. How did you all allow it to go through quality control wise? Did you all not look at this before you aired it? So all of those things, I think, leaks up even beyond her to, you know, Matt and Phil in some regard. At least Matt, at the very least. Phil, I can give a bit of a leeway to, but Matt Booty, I don't think he has much of an excuse to see that and not, you know, get on them about that personally. So that's where I'm at with it. I think things will improve though dramatically. And Footed, I'm going to need you to DM me all those secrets you know once this show is over.
Yeah, no worries, man. I got you.
What do you think about David Berger leaving? I think that's another big loss. He's been there for a long time, and I think it points to that engine problem that I was talking about earlier. But I'd love to get you guys' thoughts on that as well.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
I thought he was talking to you, Footed.
No, all good. Yeah. So I think it's also like, as you said, the engine, as we know, wasn't or doesn't look too good. So I think it's also that, but also maybe a bit of restructuring going on where they're trying to fully change the people at the top of their departments. So from what I've been told, one of my close friends, he's got a few sources. He said that there's
information coming, boys.
Yeah, he said that there's a lot of shifting and changing around over at 343, and that's going to continue following. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he was told. He's. I probably won't disclose his info just yet, but yeah, he's pretty close with like Marty O'Donnell, which is actually quite interesting. So, we'll see what happens there. But from what I'm hearing, there's gonna be a bit more changes happening. But yeah, I think like as you guys have said, like the main three people taking over Bonnie's job, it's Pierre Heinze, studio head, Brian Koski, GM of the Halo franchise, so general manager, and then Elizabeth Van Wyck, so business and operations. Those are the three that are taking over what Bonnie used to do. So if we look at it like that, I think Bonnie did have a lot on her hands, a lot on her plate. But as Umbra was just saying, I think Pierre will. I do trust Pierre to get Halo Infinite to where it needs to be.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff for MCC, and I think he and a lot of people in the community really do believe in him because of his track record.
That's right. Yeah, I believe in him.
And he has done an amazing job with the MCC, and like that thing was an absolute mess upon launch. And now I won't say flawless, but it's not far off. And it's a big undertaking to release something like that. To be fair, look, guys in the chat, I have seen your questions. I have put them aside. I will ask them now. If you guys do have a question, type question in front of your question. I said question 3 times in one sentence. Type question in front of your question, and I will get to it. I will ask the panel or whoever you want to ask. And please hit that like button if you're new here. Please hit the subscribe button. Share us out. We go live 8 p.m. EST every Friday in the US. Well, we go live everywhere, but that's the time in the US. Look, and we've got a couple of questions here from the chat, and I just wanted to ask them. Shadowless Edge's question was, and we'll go to the entire panel over this one. Mag, I think I'll go to you first on this. What's the best Halo experience on Xbox at the moment? Halo MCC, Halo 5, or Halo Infinite?
Halo Infinite. I mean, maybe that's just because it's like considered the newer hotness, but like to me, the mechanics are flawless. The game is fast as hell. It's responsive. The hit detection is damn near perfect. I have absolutely zero issues with the game itself. And I said, but you know what? When you go back, I think that all the games are quality experiences. It's just the problem is it's the execution of it and it's the upkeep of it, right? So like that's those are really my big issues. But I would have to say, without a doubt, I really enjoy the fact that the Halo Infinite's got that sort of mind you, without the looter shooter part, but it's got that sort of vibe of a Borderlands kind of idea, right, to it. So I can attack it like in any which way or form that I choose when I'm doing the campaign, right? I can go over here, clear up the map, go over here, clear up the map. I love doing that in open world games, right? That's my jam. So I really enjoy it, and I thought it was a refreshing experience to be able to do that within the Halo universe. So in that respect, absolutely, I would have to say that Infinite.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I would 110% agree with that. Halo's Infinite's bones, as we said many, many times, is just Well, look, it's flawless. It's flawless gaming, and the loop is amazing. The shooting is amazing. There's a few bugs that they need to sort out, but with hit detection and melees. But other than that, look, Footed Ghost, what would you say is tippy top of the tippy top?
So I mean, yeah, as you guys have all been saying, like Halo Infinite, the gameplay experience is fantastic. It's pure Halo, right? So I definitely. Oh, it's hard, right? So Halo MCC, you've got all of the Halo games besides Halo 5. So if you're looking to kick back and play a campaign, I would recommend Halo MCC. If you're looking for new multiplayer and you want to get into something that's a bit more new, I'd hop into Halo Infinite, the Happening playlist, or like the new B2B playlist that's going to come out after the next week. I reckon that's where you want to be. Halo Infinite's campaign is great. I really did enjoy it. It's still crazy to think that 2/3 of that was actually cut. But still really, really fun experience. So if you want to go for that modern Halo experience, that still feels classic, I guess, in a way of saying. Halo Infinite's the game you want to be playing. But if you're looking for, that old Halo experience, then Halo MCC for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think 5, I think MAGG kind of nailed it on the head when he was talking about 5. It just wasn't quite Halo, was it? It was a great shooter.
Yeah.
Great shooter. Like
fantastic shooter. Yeah.
But just
not
wasn't
really.
Yeah, wasn't really Halo. Cutie, what's your favorite out of the Halo series? The MCC 5. Even choose, if you say Halo 3 is the thing. What's your pick for the best of Halo?
I'm going to continue with everyone else. Halo Infinite is clearly superior. Probably the thing that I have enjoyed the most is when we do the custom maps together in those big parties on our community game night. It's so much fun, and it feels nice. It feels modern, but also, and for the Ghost, I totally get what you mean with the whole classic. It still feels like the same game, but brought to 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly right.
Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah, it is. It is, honestly. And all the shade that we throw at Halo, it really does come from a place of love. JediKnightPete.
Yeah, because we love it.
That's right.
Yeah. JediKnightPete, look, what's your favourite in the series?
If I'm playing campaign, I'm going to go do MCC. I think, it's just amazing. But yeah, look, I mean, we organise Halo game night every Sunday day, Saturday night for you guys in America, and I absolutely love playing it. It's so much fun. We get so many people playing that generally there's too many people that we can fit in the chat. So we love playing it, and I know Footed, you do the same thing, and you stream it straight to YouTube, and I see everyone playing with you having a great time as well, mate. The Yappening event is, amazing fun. I'm so glad they added those wacky game styles. I mean, these are the ones that we were creating in custom games. The zero gravity and the extra speed and the wacky guns. It's so much fun to play. The one major issue that I have with it is because I'm in Australia, the ping and those side of things really does destroy the experience for me sometimes.
There's lots of games that do that, Pete. Like sometimes when I play Forza with people who are in the States, like sometimes the matchmaking and queuing for games and things, that can be quite tedious. So I don't think it's necessarily something that's specific to Halo.
I get that, but it is pretty easy fix. Just have be able to pick where you launch the server from. That would be a pretty easy fix. I mean, it's pretty common, pretty standard in the industry now. And I don't think that would be too hard to actually, initiate. I wouldn't have thought so. But that would be my one main issue. And I think a lot of the problem has stemmed from them trying to fix that issue. So trying to organize it so if there is a little bit of, if someone does have an extra little bit of ping, then they try and compensate for that, and I think that's broken the game even further, and that's where you get a little bit of lag and things like that. That's one thing that I'll say that it does get extremely frustrating.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We experience that a lot in Australia because, I think the servers have kind of emptied out with a lot of what's happened with the content and so on and so forth. But Umbra, I want to go to you and ask you the same question. What's the best Halo experience for you?
Well, it's infinite. It's not even a question. I know it's a bit of recency bias that maybe peppers our thoughts, but we already know the controls and such just feel right. I mean, they have that down pat, so I'll give them that when it comes to the fundamentals. And it's hard to go back. I'm just going to be honest with you. When I go back to the MCC and I try to play that, it feels like, I don't know, you feel like a snail compared to how you do. And I love Halos. I mean, the original trilogy is in my heart. Part 3 probably being my favorite of all time, but it's tough to go back from the gameplay loop and movement and feel from Infinite to go back to that. Honestly, I'm just going to be honest with you. And I feel like if I go back to it, I'll just be decimated anyway. I'm pretty sure all of the major players are over there probably just, destroying people. I can see Mint or something like that, Mint and Blitz or somebody being over there. But no, I think Halo Infinite has earned its way when it comes to that. And it is extremely fun still when we do custom games and things like that. Hell, the Yappening event has been fun. So it's just a matter of them nailing that down when it comes to content. Once that gets going, the game will be fine.
Yeah, look, absolutely, I agree. It's the content that's the issue. Sorry, Footed. I just wanted to ask you: do you and Mint Blitz like go at it behind the scenes? Do you guys fight each other? Is there toxicity? No, I'm only kidding around. You guys attack each other like privately, and then have 1v1s and like try to sort it out.
Yeah, totally.
That's exactly what I've been doing, man. I just got off from having a fight with them earlier, so
Yeah.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side. If you ever need a TV2,
Blitz killed me.
Yeah,
Killed me in multiplayer. I was on his team, and he wanted to do that thing where he shoots the warthog and flies halfway across the map. And so I gave him the driver's seat, and he drove me off the edge because he didn't want me on there for some unknown reason.
So you've heard it here first. Mint Blitz, not a nice man. No, he's all right. Just kidding around. He's a great Halo creator. But for my money, it's got to be Footed Ghost. Anyway, moving on. That's just a shameless plug for you. Shameless plug. Moving on. I've got a couple more questions. They are Halo related, so we will get into those as well. We knew that Halo was going to go for a bit. Yudani asked, if he thinks Halo Forgers will get paid for their work, seeing as Microsoft loves community creations like in Minecraft. They do have a bit of a story in Flight Sim as well. Sim. Yeah,
great example.
Yeah, do you think that that we'll see something similar in Halo 4? I think that would be great. I mean, basically, you're taking the load off 343. I think that's the least that they can do at this point. Maybe take some of Bonnie Ross's golden parachute and put it towards the creators. What do you think? I'll go to MAGG first. I know it was asked of Footed, but I'll go to MAGG, and then I'll go to Footed. Do you think that they should pay these creators to put some Forge content, and basically take the load off? Mm-hmm.
It could use as much. It's not for me. It's not even about taking a load off. I think at this point, it's just about getting some content and generating some interest in the game again. Because you do have, other than the core community, you're just not hitting those numbers. A lot of people have left the game and just haven't gone back, present company included. I mean, until that there's something really substantial, I'm not gonna go back there. And you can see it by the concurrent players that obviously this thing has dropped off significantly. So you know what? Do whatever you got to do to drum up interest to get people back in there. If you could build up a base of a community like your Minecrafts, even like your Grounded, believe it or not, and those kind of essentially content creators of sorts, or you know what I mean, like doing like some sort of a partnership with these content creators. I think that that's the best thing that you could do to, like I said, drum up more interest and get more people interested and back into the game, because that's what you're going to need now. Because you've already put your feet forward, you've already put in the money in there, you've already put the development and time in there, and people aren't going back because they're getting distracted by all the other new content that's coming out. So what better way to do it than to slowly build a community around that would actually be able to move it forward and maybe get it back on the map, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Right, and then maybe you can move from there and say, okay, you know what? The community is back in here. We've built a solid base. Let's release another mainline story or whatever, right, to try and get people back in. I think it's a great idea to do that. That's my personal opinion, and I would pay them, absolutely pay them. It's not like they don't have money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, at the moment,
they're the richest company in the world. They can afford it. Pay them.
Yeah, they got the money there to send out the content. Footed, what do you think? Do you think they should start shelling out, maybe even for people who promote the game like yourself? They might be listening. Footed, throw it out there.
Footed ghost sitting right here. I'm sure he wouldn't say no.
I mean, I would. I'll be honest. I would happily, just for taking it. I guess I'd happily, accept something like that. But there were actually some rumors recently about Halo Forgers being able to earn some money for their maps or prefabs that they'd create. One of the members of the Forge Council who works on Halo Infinite's Forge, he actually came out and said that wouldn't be the case. He's not actually 343, he's just a member of the Forge Council. But what they could do, what we could see happening, is that any maps that are made by the community, if they ever get put into matchmaking for everybody to play, that's when I think 343 could, pay them for like every time the map is out there or every time the map is in matchmaking. So anyone that gets the maps into matchmaking is rewarded with something. It may not even be much, but just something to at least say thank you for, building stuff for our game. That's what we need right now.
I think that would be wonderful. Fortnite do it with their support a creator program, and I think you're right. If every time that it comes up in matchmaking, they can get a percentage. I don't even know what the figures would look like, to be honest. But I think that would bring more people into the ecosystem, which is what we all want, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. If it encourages creators to create in Forge, then I think it's absolutely a great idea.
And then people won't complain that there are no new maps.
That's right.
Win-win.
If everybody wins here, and what's the best motivation is money at the end of the day. Let's face it. I don't care what anybody says. People say, oh, it's for the love of this. You're full of shit. Money is the number one thing, okay? Money is the number one motivator of anything, because if you get people out there, there will be developers who haven't maybe cracked the market yet. Or you know what I'm saying? Who are maybe trying to, plant their foot in there, made their name known, get their foot in the door, so to speak. They want to get attention.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
There are so many talented people who don't have contracts with big companies, and people who have played Halo all their whole gaming
use it as a
career.
resume, dude.
Yeah, right. Oh my God!
You could walk into what is it called, Raven Studios or whatever, with Activision, and they're working on the next Call of Duty or something.
Yeah.
You could bring in that and say, "Hey, look what I created." Right? What better way? That's your resume right there, right? Fantastic, and it's something tangible because they could sit down and play it. So it's you know what I'm saying? They could play your creation. I think it's a fantastic idea to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get it done. Who do we need to write to? Let's go.
Absolutely. Just talk to Footed and he can throw it up the line. It's an absolutely great idea and a fantastic question. I have one more Halo related, and then we'll close out the subject. There's probably a few more things to talk about within Halo. But Bobby Hawk asked if Master Chief... I don't know what he's saying here. He's talking about the main character he plays in Halo Reach. I think it's what's his name? 6.
Noble 6.
Yeah. Yep. Could he take Master Chief? No, I don't think so.
Like take him on in the fight?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It'd be tight. It'd be close, but probably not.
Yeah.
I love that we can answer those type of questions.
It'd be a good fight. I suppose I'd love to see it, but no. I don't think anyone could take Master Chief. To be honest, I think he's pretty much the man. Look, there is
Noble 6. Noble 6 could challenge him.
That's what we're talking about. Noble 6. Yeah, we're talking about Noble 6 from
the only one.
Yeah, but he couldn't win. I don't think there's a win there. Definitely not. But this
I don't know.
Because
I mean, he can give him some lethal. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Look, we'll kind of move on to the 343 restructuring. I mean, we kind of did cover it, but for the Ghost, I just want to get your opinion on. Do you think these people are because I personally, I haven't heard the names. I know that the GM worked on, the director worked on the MCC. But do you know of the other guys? I don't really know anything about them, and I don't know if they're the best people for the job. What's your thoughts on who they've got to throw into the role?
So Elizabeth Fenwick, who's doing business operations right now at 343. She's been there since 2015. So that's I can't speak too much to her. All I know, they did a employee spotlight on her, I think, a couple of years ago. and you can actually see that they did it in 2018 actually. So yeah, they were talking about her role. So she's head of business operations and esports. So if you guys know who Tash is over at 343, she's kind of the person who runs like all of the esports, how their promotions work with not MLG, but you know the pro players and all that sort of stuff. So the pro competitions. So yeah, that's pretty much what she does. Just very simple. Brian Koski. I don't know a great deal about him, to be totally honest with you. There's nothing too much to say on him. I'm trying to see when he joined 343. Let's see here. Okay, so he's been at Microsoft for 7 years, 9 months. He's only just become the general manager of the Halo franchise, but before that, he was the head of marketing from 2015 to September this year. So that was with Halo Infinite, Halo 5, Halo Wars 2, global marketing strategy, brand management, product lifecycle and planning. So all of that. If we remember, like Halo Infinite's promotions, Halo Infinite's advertisements were actually really, really good. So I think he's pretty spot on for all that sort of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what he does as the general manager.
Yeah, look, I will just say that I really like the way they're doing it, and they're hiring from internally. I really do like that. I love when you can get promoted for the work you do within a company instead of outsourcing it. So I really, really like that initiative. And look, there has been things that have been changed as well. They just removed as soon as Bonnie got they got rid of Bonnie. Bonnie left. Although her replacements were there the next day. So, I mean, let's face it, guys. It was pretty much planned. David Berger left. I think that was his name. David Berger left. And then they also got rid of Spartan points on MCC. Now, there was a big push to put microtransactions into MCC. And, I mean, everybody pushed back against that in the community, and they announced that they're stopping that initiative, which is just a fantastic move. I love that. MCC should remain pure. It's amazing that game is still going. The nostalgia that you get playing that game is fantastic. So that's actually a really good initiative as well. In terms of the people that they're getting to replace them, I don't think we know enough. I think the only one we know enough about is Pierre Hines, the guy that fixed MCC. That's because he fixed MCC.
That's it.
In terms of the lady, I'm not sure what her name is. I don't like that she comes from the esports background. I think that they focus far too much on the competitive side of things. And if the Yappening has showed us anything, it showed us that more social game pipes bring the Halo players back. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Look, I mean, everyone deserves a go, and I hope that they're all incredibly successful and they can bring Halo Infinite back to where it should have been from the start.
Yeah, agreed.
What do you think, Mag?
You know what? Honest to God, man, I don't have a dog in this fight at all. I'm just gonna just listen in, and you know what? Obviously, this was coming for a while. He knew this was coming, and then this whole situation with Bonnie Ross. That's whatever. That's a personal thing. I just think that they use that as the opportunity, saying, you know what, maybe now's the time to make the move. But obviously, this was something in the works for a very long period of time. Like for example, when something happens with my corporation, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, like the saying is, you can't turn a ship on a dime, right? It takes a long time to turn that ship around, right? So this is something that's probably been in the works for quite some time, and then of course they're just looking for the opportunity, not a ideal opportunity, because it's like I said before, it's something you don't wish on anybody, but it is what it is. It's done now. We'll see where it's going to go. But as for the individuals who have taken over the spot, I know very little about it. So I'm going to kindly step back and listen in, because I'm learning, and you learn something every day, folks.
And what do you think, Umbra, Doomy?
Yeah, like I mean, I agree with you in the sense that they've hired within the team, as in, these people know the game, they know the general direction, or they're familiar with it still, and that's the reason why this transition was so, or seemingly flawless. So yeah, but like I'm with Mag. I don't know in particular these people. but I do hope that their love and their passion for Halo can continue the game moving forward to bigger and better.
Yeah,
I agree, and I want to wish Tony Ross. Sorry, Umbra, you go, brother.
No, I'm saying phrase that question for me again.
I just want. What do you think of the new hirings? Do you think that the people that they've hired are the right people for the job? What do you think about that situation?
It's to be seen. I mean, we don't know, man. Ultimately, we just don't know. I hope it's the case. I feel like it can't get worse, but then maybe it could. You know what I mean? So,
Never say
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You're right.
Hargeet has got a question. When will Risk It stop being a pony and play Destiny Dreamlight Valley on Game Pass instead of frauding on PS5?
Never.
Well, all the best games are on
PS5, Hargeet.
all the best games are on PS5. All the best people are on PS5. So yeah, this is now going to be called PlayStation Infinite. Yeah, look, I have been playing a bit of PlayStation 5, but that's because Xbox got no games. No, I'm kidding. Look, as much as I love talking about Halo, we've got to move on to the next topic. Otherwise, we will be here for hours and hours. We'll turn into the Iron Lords. But before we do, Footed Ghost, you are an absolute champion for coming on the show, giving us your thoughts about Halo. Footed does have to bail out, unfortunately. But, mate, please let the people know where they can find you, what you'll be up to, what you'll be playing, what your hopes are for Halo. And if you've gotten any little juicy nuggets of goodness, now's the time.
Well, again, just thank you for having me on here. It's been great as per usual. These podcasts are sick. I definitely will try come on again if I can down the line. But again, thanks for having me. 343. It's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. A lot of these changes, we probably won't see the fruits of them until sometime next year. But I'm just happy to see some changes happening at the studio. Hoping for the best. I think Halo Infinite will get there. I'm excited for Forge. I'm excited for next year. The stuff that I've seen. Like, I'll drop a few nuggets here. Like the Falcon, that's going to come. We got, as you guys probably seen, the Bandit Rifle, the Shroud Screen, the bunch of new maps that look sick. There's this massive Desert BZB map that's coming next year. Looks really, really awesome. So a lot of fun stuff coming next year. We'll have to see how it all goes. But I'm very, very excited for it. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping the new leaders at 343 can do it. Get the game into where it needs to be. But you guys can find me on YouTube primarily. I'm also on Twitter. I make a few hot takes on there as well sometimes. So all of that you can find me at Footed Ghost. Pretty straightforward. But thank you guys for having me on, and I hope the rest of your show goes well.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming through, buddy.
Thank you very much. Congratulations on the 25,000 subs, man. You definitely deserve it. And I have linked all of Footed Ghost's socials in the description, as are MAGG's. Our guests are down there, but I've also linked them in the chat there. So if you guys want to click on there and head over there and sub, he is the man for Halo. So thank you again.
Footed also has game night, and you can actually play and get yourself streamed on YouTube if you get in contact with him. So that's always fun. But just want to say thank you, Footed. You're an absolute legend, mate. Your takes are sensational, and you are welcome anytime, brother.
Hey, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. I'll catch you all in a bit then. All right.
Catch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
fantastic.
then there was one.
The focus is on MAGG. Look, we'll move on to the next topic. Before we do, guys, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And look, I have had an hour and a half of sleep. And the reason that I did that is because I was capping Modern Warfare 2 footage, which I'm going to bring onto screen any minute now. But before I do, I have a bit of a clip to play from Phil. There's been a fair bit of back and forthing between Phil, Spencer and Jim Ryan. And it's just been really interesting to watch all this sort of stuff unfold. So look, I'm going to pop this up on screen now, and then we will come back and hit up the panel.
Speaking of content, there's no avoiding what every gamer has been talking about, I suppose, over the last couple of weeks, and that is this ongoing stoush with Sony when it does come to regulation. I've got to ask you, if you ask Sony, if you hear from Sony, obviously we know what Jim Ryan is suggesting, that the 3 years isn't enough in terms of providing for Call of Duty, and it's something that the regulators are now obviously going to be looking at. Can you not just provide that clarity and just say, hey, we'll make it available in perpetuity?
Yeah, I can't talk a ton about where we are in regulatory just because of the mechanism that is. You know, I've said out there publicly to our fans and our customers, which is where our strongest commitment is, that our expectation is that we'll continue to ship Call of Duty on PlayStation and other places where people see, and hopefully expand the number of places that people are playing all of our games. That's been our goal. We put the player at the center, and through technologies like cloud, through shipping day and date on PC, our expectation is the games that we're building will be played by more players going forward. And that's our goal with all the games that we're building today.
But can you understand as well, if you're in Sony's shoes and then you see that the strength that Game Pass has right now, the ability that you guys have been having, and I'm a Game Pass user myself, so it's an incredibly good service. But if you were to say, for example, put Call of Duty for free on Game Pass, and then Sony users still have to pay for Call of Duty, that could create problems as well?
You know, when I look at something like Game Pass specifically, I think it's the output of competition in our market. We sat back as Microsoft and Xbox, and we thought, how can we innovate and create value, as you're talking about as a Game Pass subscriber? Thank you. How can we provide value to players? And we came up with a new model for customers building out their library of games, and gamers love it. I think that's what competition is about. Competition is about driving competitors to innovate, driving competitors to do new things like cloud, like subscriptions, like building new intellectual property. And I think everything that we've been focused on is how do we compete effectively? How do we deliver more value to our customers?
But you understand the fear, right, considering with Bethesda and then making a raft of the titles exclusive that Sony's probably having, thinking that this is going to be round two when it does come to that in terms of Activision's IP.
You know, exclusivity of titles has been something that's just been a backbone of our industry for an awful long time. We made a move a few years ago that when we ship our games, we're going to ship them on console and PC. We obviously make them available to almost anybody with a web browser today. You can go to xbox.com/play and play our games via the cloud. So we're about giving access to our games to more players going forward. That's our goal. So when we think about exclusivity for us, we're going to have exclusive titles on Xbox. We do today. It's part of our platform to drive affinity for what we do. But we want those games to end up being played by more players than they've ever been played before. And we build out the technology and business model innovation.
And we are back. This has been really interesting, this back and forth, and with Phil coming out and doing that interview and being pretty forthright. He did dodge around the question of exclusivity for PlayStation. I think I've always been I think everyone's been a little bit confused about this, and I don't think that there's been a lot of talk about how he's lying. The dude doesn't lie. He's a CEO. He's got to put in marketing speak. They can't say that Call of Duty is going to be exclusive, or multi-plat in perpetuity. They just can't say that. Whether they intend for that to happen or whether that changes in the future with a different CEO, that's not something that these guys can pull the trigger on. And I find it really weird that people call him a liar. I mean, the dude's he hasn't been straightforward. I would say that. Mag, look, as a CEO, what's your thoughts on this whole, bringing Call of Duty over in perpetuity? People throwing shade at Phil Spencer for not being forthright. What are your thoughts?
People are idiots. What did I say at the beginning of the show? And no matter what happens, you have a target on your back. Right? They also think that they're your friend. That's another thing that everybody's got to get out of your head. Phil is a nice guy. I've spoken to Phil, okay, a few times personally. He is a wonderful person, but at the end of when it comes to business, do you think he's going to answer your question? Hey, is Call of Duty going to be exclusive to Xbox? Yeah, Bill. You think he's going to tell you? This is a multi-trillion-dollar corporation. They have to do corporate speak all the time. They have to dance around questions, as you heard, right? When he speaks, you have to dance around these things because these are financially sensitive situations that cost billions of dollars. So, Bill on YouTube is not going to find out what's going on behind the multi-billion-dollar deal, nor do they owe you that information. That's none of your business. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, it'll be your business when they announce it. That's how it goes. Now, as for all this kind of thing, when it comes to like Call of Duty, I'm gonna get into it very briefly. When it comes to Call of Duty and the exclusivity and all that stuff, it means nothing. I don't think it should. I think they should just leave it on PlayStation forever. Just charge regular price. $70 US, $100 in Canada and Australia, right? Well, for us, it's $90 plus tax, right? And we got 15% tax, so it's basically about $103.75. Okay, for Call of Duty, which is about the same price as the PS5 games. Okay, so guess what? You're not excluding anybody. Everybody's been paying that price already. The only difference is that for me, as generally a primarily Xbox player, is that I will get to play it on Game Pass, so I don't have to spend $100. All right, I just bought Modern Warfare 2. Cost me $100. Next year or the year after, it's going to cost me nothing, because I've already got Game Pass paid until whatever, 2025 or whatever the hell it is, right? So there it is. And of course, that's only going to get better with the family plan, so that my son doesn't have to pay for Game Pass, because I game share with my wife, right? She has her own system, and we game share her, but we can't game share with my son. So therefore, we're paying for 2 Game Pass subscriptions in my house. Well, guess what? In December, that's going to go away, because then we're going to have the family plan, right? So anyways, the point is, there is no point to exclusivity. None. There is no advantage to it. The only advantage that we should have as Xbox gamers is that it's on Game Pass. So that, I mean, and it's not like we're sitting there worrying about, oh, well, you know, if it's on Game Pass, maybe we'll get more people in the community. It's the biggest game in the world. Literally the biggest game in the world. What the hell? You don't need the numbers. All this is that it's great for us as gamers. Okay, and so that we don't have to pay for it. I mean, outside of Game Pass. So, and like I said, when it comes to PlayStation, give it to them for all eternity. That's all. I just charge them full price. If you want to play over there, you got to pay. You don't have to be douchey like the way PlayStation does or Sony does, where they lock Microsoft out or Xbox gamers out of these things. Their exclusive this and exclusive that and exclusive maps and exclusive even Hogwarts Legacy exclusive
Fetch Quest.
What's it called? Yeah. Exclusive Fetch Quest, some haunted mansion or whatever the hell it is. And like they got all that stuff going on. And then of course the Final Fantasies and the Street Fighter 5s and on and on and on and the Knights of the Old Republic. Go ahead. You want to do all that stuff? Go right ahead. But don't tell Microsoft to get out of their lane. Let them stay in their lane and let them do what they want. You're not getting, you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting anything out of this outside of that. And you're not going to not get anything. You're still getting the game, for God's sake.
Exactly. Look, I'm going to riff off that. I'm going to riff off that and say
that's
as well.
The thing that bothers me on it.
It's also fear.
Absolutely. This is what bothers me about these guys that cap for PlayStation. Sorry, Umbra, we'll go straight to you after. Is that with exclusivity, no one benefits from exclusivity insofar as players. Players don't benefit from exclusivity. That forces you into an ecosystem that maybe you don't want to be in, maybe you do want to be in. But when we talk about Xbox buying something, that does give gamers something. We know it's going to Game Pass. So you get something out of the deal. When PlayStation buys something and makes it exclusive, all that means is if you're already in the ecosystem, that you're going to be playing it like you would have been playing it if it was third party. It's ridiculous that people cap for exclusivity. Exclusivity only helps the console makers, the business. It doesn't help you in the end. Umbra, sorry to cut you off there, mate. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's so weird having to come off this phone to do it because I have to keep going back to this. But anyway, I was just saying this to me, it's the temerity and the entitlement, Mag, that bothers me. It's this whole, oh, how dare you? You can't do this to us. We're PlayStation, basically, is what Jim Ryan is ultimately saying. And our fans this and that. But fuck Xbox fans. You know what I mean? Like, that, to me, is the thing that bothers me the most. So while they sit here and obfuscate by money heading, as I call them, money head studios, money heading all these games left and right, you know what I mean? From third party and all of that. And we miss out on it for generations. And then they, you know, buy all these studios up. Went from organic to that going out of their lexicon completely. And still, he has the nerve to talk and dictate and want to dictate at least to where Microsoft games should be and in perpetuity. That's the thing that kills me the most. We need a guarantee from such as listen, I bought this. I don't know what world he lives in, but once you buy something like that, you don't then get to dictate what somebody gets to do with it. And that's the thing that bothers me most. And we all know for a fact, if PlayStation had acquired Activision, it would not even be a question that Xbox would be X'd out. And even if it wasn't going to be X'd out, nobody would be questioning them as to what their plans would be. It's only when Xbox does it is there, well, is PlayStation going to get this? That has to stop. And the only way for that to stop is for Microsoft to gain the market share they lost during the 8th gen. That's the only way for this to stop.
Mhm.
Microsoft gains some good traction and goes up to second or whatever it may be, then it'll stop. Go ahead, brother. Sorry.
I was going to ask you a quick question. Do you think that it's actually because they're entitled, or do you think it's fear of Game Pass?
I think it's both.
Because
I think it's entitlement and they're used to that position of where they're at. But then it's also because they're like that dinosaur. They don't see that meteor coming down for them. And so that Game Pass is that meteor. And that's the fear right there. You know, they're not equipped.
There's the fear. You know, they downplayed it, and including a lot of the community, too. Downplaying Game Pass. Game Pass is a waste of time. It's this and that. It's not making money. It's this and that. But then as soon as it actually threatens them, they're like, oh, shit. This is actually this is actually a legit problem because, like I just said, you're going to pay $100 or you're going to pay $5.
Right. I know what I'm paying.
The same product.
Yeah.
The same product. And here's the other thing. Sorry, there's one last thing I was going to say, and I forgot to say that in my little spiel, is that you don't have to buy a $500 to $700 PlayStation 5 to play the one game. You can play it on a smart TV. You could play it on your phone. You could play it on your tablet. You could play it on your laptop. You could play it on anything without actually having to buy the console. And I think the accessibility is also a fear because the only way you can play PlayStation 5 is on, guess what? Spoiler alert, PlayStation 5. And that costs up to $700. I spent $750 on a PlayStation 12. I got 2 of them. Right?
I paid about $856 for mine, so I feel you.
Right? Okay, so you get it. So you see that? There's only one point of entry on the Sony side. Whereas Xbox, I just named off 9.
Yeah, it's definitely a weakness.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that goes to the point, Mag. You hit it on the head, brother. And that's the thing. And Phil had this interview. I don't know if you all had seen it, but he was interviewed with, I forgot the Southwest Asia. I forgot the name of it. And basically, they asked him, you know, hey, what about Sony? Like, what about the fear of it going to Game Pass, like you just pointed out, Mac, for that low monthly price versus them having to pay $70 on PlayStation? And Phil basically had to dance around it because it obviously is an ongoing situation, but he also did the PR move, and he basically told him, well, you know, we have so many ways to access the game anyway. You can even log on to on your computer and stream it through cloud. You know what I mean? Through Xbox on Xbox.com. So, and it's in other words, if you don't want to pay that $70, get an Xbox or get at least into Game Pass. Right?
Well, he just highlighted
Isn't that what they told us?
He just highlighted
when
the fact
to play Spider-Man and such. Get a PlayStation. Isn't that what they told us, guys?
Yeah, but they did do that. But he's highlighting the fact that that when he did do that, I just played that video just before. He's highlighting the fact that this deal doesn't hurt gamers. That this COD, if it were to even go exclusive with Xbox, wouldn't hurt gamers. It hurts Sony. He highlighted that masterfully. Yeah. Absolutely masterfully, Doomy. Look, what are your thoughts on what Phil Spencer had to say about the exclusivity of COD and just playing on screen right now? And it is an amazing game. I recommend everyone go and pre-order it because it's going to be a fire. Except for C-Steph down there in chat. You definitely should not pre-order it. It's not for you.
No, you know what? Phil Spencer's a smart man, and you know he's always done right by the community and by gamers. So even if he is dodging some questions, it's probably because he doesn't know the answer or he can't speak on it because of different contracts and whatnot. So I think he's smart. I think he's making sure that gaming is for everyone and everyone can game. So in Phil we trust.
Yeah,
For sure.
Phileas Spencerus Maximus. Yeah, look, absolutely. I just want to address. I'm going to go to you, Pete, and ask you a similar question. But I just want to address Magic Casts in the chat there, and Magic. Thank you for coming every week, and we really appreciate your support. But just in answer to your comment, which is, I usually agree with the sentiment that if PS bought X, there's no question about exclusivity. But then Sony bought Bungie and did the exact opposite. That is the exception to the rule, and the reason why that is the exception to the rule is because Sony needed Bungie more than Bungie needed Sony. So Bungie was able to write themselves their own deal, and they wanted to remain multiplat. That's in their deal, and they will be managing themselves. I've no doubt that of buying Bungie, there will be exclusive content come from that. That's what they're there for. But Destiny itself was written into the deal to say multiplate because that is what Bungie wanted. And like I said, they had Sony over a barrel. And barrel is on, Sony is on the back foot. They've been on the back foot since the beginning of this generation, and they know it, and they have to play catch up. They don't have Microsoft's money. They need to get into this live service industry. They can't continue to just keep putting out bangers as they are and amazing games as they are. They just do not bring the money that live service games bring. These single player narrative driven experiences are just not money makers. When you're selling to a tenth of your console install base, that's an issue. And I think that they've seen that, and that's why you have that deal, and that is why that is the exception to the rule. And Pete, look, I'm going to go to you. What do you think about Phil's response? And the back and forth that we've been seeing happening? It's almost like a risk at Twitter war, but with CEOs, and I'm really enjoying it personally.
I love it. I love the no more Mr. Nice Guy approach from Phil. We all know that he's been playing the nice guy for a long time now, and I love that he's finally dropping the hammer down. And every time Jim Ryan speaks, he seems to put his foot in his mouth. And it's just been a constant thing this whole generation with Jim dance moves. Lion Ryan, quoted from by Randall Thor last week, which is just fantastic. But look, I just want to. This is what he said. He said, by giving Microsoft control of Activision games like Call of Duty, this deal would have a major negative implications for gamers and the future of the gaming industry. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers. No, they're not protecting gamers, they're protecting Sony gamers, and basically you can just get an Xbox, or you can get a Samsung TV, or you can stream it from any device, and you'll still be able to play Call of Duty. So it's not Microsoft's responsibility to protect Sony either. And Sony's been money-hatting things as a market leader for ages. There are strikes that we still can't play on Destiny. We can't play Spider-Man in the Marvel Avengers game. And they have been doing this for so long. They've been blatantly not putting gamers first. They've been money-hatting things. I think in the fiscal year ending 2021, they spent $329 million. I think it was $1 million on money hatting different IPs. Sony did. So this is what they do, and Microsoft is finally pushing back, and I love it. Competition breeds ingenuity. I mean, that's where we got Game Pass from. They know that they don't have a response to Game Pass. They were slow off the bat. This whole generation, Microsoft has a more powerful console at a cheaper price, and they have Game Pass, which gives you hundreds of games day and date for a small monthly subscription fee. It's something we haven't seen in the industry ever. The industry has been shaken up because of it. I'm loving it. I get to play so many games, and when the deal goes through and Call of Duty goes day and date into Game Pass, it's going to be amazing. I mean, if you think Halo or Forza bring in a lot of players, wait till Call of Duty drops day and date into Game Pass. And Sony knows that. They really do. Now, I don't think that Xbox is going to not allow Sony to have Call of Duty because I don't think it'd be right for the game. I think the bigger player base you can have, the better. But they also know the power of that day and date going into Game Pass, and they just don't have anything to fight back against it.
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, they don't have anything to fight back against it, and that doesn't mean they can't put like something into, have a go, have a crack at it. Try a live service game. Try to compete. They've got some of the best studios on the planet. Like, if they can't put together a live service game, man, it's just stupid bullshit arguments that are just baffling, and that people back them up just is insanity. And I think you framed it well, Pete. They're not looking to protect gamers. He's not looking to protect his gamers even. He doesn't give a shit about his gamers. Why would he be raising...
It's not a damn... Yeah, come on.
Why would he be raising the prices?
Why would he be raising the price of both the console,
and the games?
You all see the PSVR? Yeah, they just raised the PSVR 2. They're raising right now. You can't even play the PSVR games on the PSVR 2. What's going to be their excuse for that? It's built from the ground up.
I know.
Yeah, built from the ground up. That is the excuse. It's what they said. Because
now,
it's built from the ground up.
Think about
and
this for accessibility.
They tell their gamers this, and they eat it up like hay for horses. No, I'm sorry.
Think about this.
Like
this is what they're afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
God of War is coming out in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The price of let's say you own nothing. Okay. Let's say you're you're Billy and you're going to buy Billy Jr. Something for Christmas. Okay. You have nothing and he has nothing. I'm like, all right. So you walk into the store. You want to buy God of War. Okay. God of War and a PS5 with an increased price of the PS5 is now going to cost $900 for one game. That is the system added almost $75, almost $100 extra now that they're charging now for the PS5 in Canada. Because remember, they raised the price, right? I don't know. I'm pretty sure they did in Australia as well, didn't they?
You know how much it is? Europe, you know how much it is in Australia when they bundle?
Yeah,
$1,200.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you're about the same as us because our dollars are pretty even. The Aussie dollar and the Canadian dollar are pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So now you want to buy God of War, and that's it. Just the one game, and the console will cost you $900. If you want to play Call of Duty on Xbox, let's say the ABK deal goes through, which it will, it'll cost you $100 because you don't have to buy the console. All you have to do is buy 1 month of Game Pass for $20. But don't forget that doesn't just give you Call of Duty. That gives you 600 other quality titles on top of that. And you have to buy a controller. That's it. You could play, like I said, you could have a, who doesn't, let me ask a question. Who doesn't have a laptop, tablet, or cell phone in their home? Name one person who doesn't have any of these things in their home. They all do, pretty much. Unless you live in a swamp somewhere, I don't know, or in the outback for you guys.
Just apologies to anyone living in a swamp or the outback.
Yeah, well, you know what? Guess what? If they're living in a swamp, they're not listening to the show because they don't have the internet. So it's all good. It's all good. Drinking moonshine, hanging out with crocodiles. Anyways, the point is,
more something.
That's the thing. $100 versus $900. That is what they're afraid of at the end of the day. And that's why, because it's the most popular game in the world, possibly the most popular game in history, if you look at NPDs over the course of the last 14 years. All right? That is what they're afraid of. It's the entry point that's ridiculous. Look at PSVR. You just got someone, was it you, Umbra, that just mentioned PSVR 2? I'm buying it, but I'm not everybody. That's going to cost me $700 right off the rip. Okay, and then it's going to be another $300 in games. So I'm going to be spending $1,000 on that thing when it comes out. And I love VR. I think it's what's that?
In this economy.
Right, in this economy, can you imagine?
Crazy.
So imagine people who are really, really hard on their, really, really down on their luck, really had a hard time, lost their jobs, lost businesses, whatever, over the last couple of years because of the pandemic. Okay, imagine you're going to go into the store for little Billy Jr. for Christmas and you're going to spend $1,000. Are you out of your goddamn mind? I'm sorry, Doom. I'm just coming up with whatever name comes to my head.
No, you're right. You're right. And you know what? It's actually awful. It's actually awful.
How about gas prices?
Yeah.
Okay. gas prices are double what they were last year. At least they are in Canada, right? And imagine you have to pay for you're a parent. You have to pay for gas prices. Everything's increased. You go to the grocery store. You spend $300 and you got nothing for it because everything is double, triple the price. And the price, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at here? And then you walk in the store and Sony's going to charge you $900 to buy one console and one game. Are you out of your mind? That's what they're afraid of at the end of the day. That is what got Jim Ryan pissing his pants. But Sony don't give a shit. Sony's just like, raise the prices, they'll buy it. That arrogance, it's the arrogance of the company that's going to get them buried. And let's face it, guys, we've seen it for decades. I'm sure all of us are old enough that we've been around for a couple of generations of consoles, okay? Me since the 70s. But anyways, the point is that at the I know, laugh it up, eh? Old man.
Hey, I'm not too far behind you, Meg. I'm not too far behind.
Yeah, I know you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's actually 88, so it's
That's all I'm saying, Mag.
we're surprised every week when he turns up, you know.
Think about the arrogance. Sony's arrogance has been there since day one.
Yep.
You know, see what I'm saying? And it hasn't changed. It's 2022. It's been going on since the 90s. It hasn't changed. And it's not going to change unless they get their asses handed to them. And I think they don't want that reckoning to come, but it's going to come right now because as soon as the ABK deal goes through, they're going to have to restructure. Or, just like King David said, go third party and become the new Sega.
You're going to have the ponies at you for that one, man. Listen, my thing is, you're right. And that's why I said, let them eat cake. That's Sony, because they get arrogant ever so often. Microsoft did it too. I think we all remember that from the 360 to the Xbox One gen. They did it. You know, nobody's immune to it, right? And that's the problem with having them have no competition. Because Microsoft gave them little competition in the 8th gen, Sony got arrogant again. And you know, and that's the problem. So now that this right here is happening, this is only a good thing for us as consumers. That's the only thing this is good for. It might not be good for the Sony's bottom line, but it's great for us. And that's the thing that Microsoft has going for them, the value proposition. You hit it right on the head, Mag. It's the thing. Like if I see a $70 game over there, which I refuse to buy, by the way. I'm still crowdfunding for God of War, by the way, for all those listening. You all can donate to the $10 fund because I'm not giving them 70. And but if you have
Umbra, if I beat your ass in Fight Night,
that's not going to happen.
Are you going to shell out the $70 for God of War? If I lay you out on the mat, if I lay you out, are you going to shell out the $70?
Don't threaten him with a good time, risk it.
Yeah, don't threaten me with beating your ass.
Yeah.
Thing is, did you dodge me before when I was supposed to fight you to beat you up so you wouldn't pay $70 for this remaster of The Last of Us? Didn't you like hide from me?
I don't know what you're talking about. I got COVID. My left nut broke in half. My little finger fell off. Whatever.
I'll tell you what. After this, let's get a match in and Fight Night. If you can beat me, I'll pay 70 for God of War.
Everybody heard it. You all heard it in the chat. Everyone heard it. All right, beautiful.
Here we go.
Little salad figures. It's gonna happen.
And if you can't beat me, you'll cover the $10 fee.
All right.
Wow.
All right, that's fair.
Asshole tax? You're going to pay for it?
He's going to pay the asshole tax back. Yep.
The $10, yeah.
The asshole paying the asshole tax
already.
My
cash.
By the way, I'd like to point out.
Wait till Game Pass is on every single smart TV. That day is coming. I don't think it's too far away. Every single Samsung TV is on 2022 releasing this year. Will have Game Pass app already on it pre-installed. I don't think it's too far away that every smart TV will have it. That's going to be another game changer. The entry point is just a killer for so many people. And when you're only going to need to buy a controller and then get Game Pass on a small fee, $10 a month, I mean, that is going to be a big, massive
Dude, that's
game
what I'm
changer.
saying. Less than $100. So less than a price of one Sony game, you actually get into the entire ecosystem with hundreds of games. There is no competition to that. Nobody can challenge that. Nintendo can't hold a... Can you imagine if Microsoft starts making kid games? Like real kid games, like a whole bunch of them with maybe like Toys for Bob and the other companies they got from like Activision or whatever, and you start creating a games division, or maybe you buy the Lego franchise from Warner Brothers after this deal goes through. Even Nintendo's going to get smoked. because then kids are going to be playing. My kids don't care. My kids I have 2 Switches in the house, okay? That one for each of the kids. Okay, they play it, but if something hot comes on Xbox Game Pass, they're playing Paw Patrol. They don't care.
Yeah.
My kids aren't going to be like, my 7-year-old's not on Twitter going blah 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 blah. They're just going to play what they want to play. So if you bring the entertainment to them, then they will be there, and that's going to go. Now imagine, like I said, again, no one wants to spend $900 on a 7-year-old. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. All right, you're going to spend the cheapest shit possible because you know how kids are. 3 months later, they might drop it, never touch it again. Okay, so guess what? You buy the damn controller.
Hell, 3 days later.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Like you buy the controller and it's already a square tile on the TV right next to Disney Plus, right next to Crave, right next to HBO Max, right next to Prime Video. You know what I'm saying? And Netflix. And there's Game Pass, the little green square sitting right there.
You know, Mag, you've really hit the nail on the head because I mean I don't know what it's like in American schools or are you American or Canadian? Canada. I don't know what it's like there, but here in Australia, every single school gets Microsoft Office Suite for free. Every student, even up until university. So they invest their product and teaching children when they're first learning technology about Microsoft.
Yeah.
And
that's a little bit dirty, right? That's kind of inserting.
Hey, man.
Yeah. That's
the same as McDonald's.
Yeah, right. Get them addicted early.
Clown. Right? To get them all your kids, right? To get the clown dancing with what was his Grimace and the other guys. All right? They're all dancing around doing stuff. Exactly. What did Eminem say? I'm getting in your kids' ears and nesting. That's what they're doing. Just what you said, Doom. Same thing. You put Microsoft in every school across the country. Guess what? You've been bred to use Microsoft products. Smartest thing you could possibly do.
Absolutely. It's a good point, Doom, actually, that you brought that up.
It is a good point, Doom.
Yeah, bang on.
Yeah,
point,
and it just means, and it eventually
like changing breast milk to Coca-Cola.
Well,
so every baby grows up to drink Coca-Cola. It's the same idea. Anyway,
it's been like this. It's been like this for so long. And obviously schools are just going to be like, yeah, we want something for free. Like, and also Minecraft education, that's also free for every single student. And it's a really powerful teaching tool. So I think they're very, very clever. And I think the moment that Game Pass is integrated into just televisions, that will change the game in regards to the age of their gamers.
Absolutely. I just want to shout out.
Let's say this really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Riz.
I just want to shout out Bobby Hawk in the chat that you're absolutely on fire. Guys, I don't think he really means most of this stuff, but you need batteries for Xbox, no batteries for gameplay. Just keep them coming. Xbox brainwash your kids. Good to know. I'm loving you, Bobby. Loving your work. Umbra.
OBM. Oh, one bad mother. I'm glad you're leaving. Get out of here. Stop haunting this chat, please. Jesus. Sorry, OBM and I got this long history of. We have a long history of insulting each other, so it's kind of funny. Every time I do a primetime gaming show, I turn on the thing. There's OBM sitting there. I'm like, dude, why don't you just become a panel member? You're a guest. You're a guest every 10 days, for Christ's sake. Anyway,
I swear.
OBM, I love you, dude.
It's like Steel Rain, man. It's like he will appear on the Xbox Factor. And I'm like, why is he just not a panel member with us?
Like Pong Soul is on every single podcast in the history of the world. You could literally have a podcast about gardening and Pong Soul's there. And I'm like, this guy is everywhere. It's ridiculous. Anyways.
I can see it. But I was going to say, though, just on the value proposition, it goes deeper than that, right? Because even outside of the kid part, even outside of the children's situation and them seeing games and Microsoft making games more readily available for all ages, it's the fact that outside of even Call of Duty, you got to look forward to the future of Xbox. You have Starfield, you have Redfall. Beyond that, you have the Fallouts, you have the Elder Scrolls. After a point, it's going to become impossible to ignore Xbox and Game Pass. That's just what it is. And then if they leverage WoW the way they should and bring that to consoles where, we can use mouse and keyboard, all these things like that, it's going to become impossible with that value proposition.
Indiana Jones. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Exciting time.
Well, that's a great
So
segue
exciting.
into our next topic. What's coming for Xbox, and the value proposition is only ever expanding. And I did not know that Xbox was having an ID at Xbox, but they absolutely are. But before we jump into the next topic, I will just say hit that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Bobby, I'm going to ban you. No, you're right. Look, they've released some an ID at Xbox. They had a ridiculous amount of games, and we are not going to go through them all. Mag, I kind of hope that you have checked out some of the things that were coming to that ID at Xbox. I know you're a very busy man, and there was a lot of games in that. But there's a couple that I wanted to shout out that I was particularly interested in. I was interested in checking out Song of Iron 2. There was a bit of clunkiness with that game for me personally, and I hope he's kind of fixed that. He's a single developer. He did a really good job, but there's just a couple of issues with the game that I just didn't flow for me. So I'm interested to see where he goes with Song of Iron. And I'm kind of really getting into my side scrolling at the moment. I don't know why, but it's just something that's floating my boat, blowing my hair back, tickling my chimney. Moonscars.
You're what?
Yeah, you pretend I never said it, then we just move forward. Moonscars was like another one that I've been waiting for. Another side-scrolling kind of. And Pete hates when I say this, but Souls-like. Everything's a bloody Souls-like. And another one that I'm pretty excited to see coming to Xbox, which was massive on PC, was Valheim. Those were the ones that stood out to me. They were just great. Absolutely great games. Pete, I'm going to go to you because I know that you spent a bit of time sitting down watching the ID at Xbox. And one other one that I'll shout out that's fun as hell, and Steph, thanks for pointing it out to me and getting me to play it, is You Suck at Parking. That is a great game. Guys, jump on that and have a bang at that. That's available now. Pete, what are the games that stood out to you in the ID at Xbox? And look, I will let you guys know in the chat. We'll be moving on to the PlayStation State of Play after this. So there were some interesting ones in there as well.
Yeah, Valheim, Song of Iron 2, I think there's a Telltale game in there, but I just wanted to say that what I love with ID at Xbox is just how great Xbox are getting these young developers that might not ever have been able to make a game and getting their game out there. And not only that, giving them free marketing as well. Joe has done, the guy that made Song of Iron, has done the rounds on different podcasts. I've seen him on Game of Daily. I think I've seen him on RDX. And he speaks with just in such high regard with how Microsoft do it. They're always in contact with you. They're always asking you what you need, what they can do to help. They're providing you with the tools and able to get your game out there, and I absolutely love it. Now, not all of these games are going to hit, but a lot of them have. They're little diamonds in the rough. And a lot of them drop on Game Pass. And yeah, look, I just love the way they're going about it. And it's another thing. It's $25,000, wasn't it, to get your game advertised in the PlayStation Store?
Yeah, it's nuts.
There is a stark difference when you think about it that way. So that's I mean, more so than the games, that's what I'd really like to point out.
Absolutely, yeah, they do a really good job of looking after their indies. But I'm a little bit concerned because they've got so much going in there that it's pretty easy for games to kind of get lost in the the mix. Umbra, what was it that stood out to you at ID at Xbox?
Well, I got to agree with Pete 100% first to say the whole idea that Microsoft has been banging that drum for a minute on bringing these new developers or lower end, AA developers in for the independent crowd into Xbox the way they've been doing. And I know they had to do it during the Xbox One generation, but it's carried on. And I'm glad they didn't just treat it the way Sony kind of treated it at a point, because Sony used to be really heavy on that and then kind of abandoned it once they had, they started getting their AAA games out. Microsoft is smart to cultivate that and built that on top of what they're doing on their side of things. And you can tell it's not something they're just haphazardly doing. They're really on this, and I appreciate it because a lot of these games I actually end up loving. I know Steph had been playing You Suck at Parking. They showed that at ID at Xbox. We got Metal Hellsinger that came out right now. I have to get on that soon, and I've been hearing nothing but positives about that. We got Moonscars coming, which is coming on the 27th of this month, and that looks great. I'm really excited for that. Valheim was pointed out by Pete. I'm excited for that as well. And he was talking about the Telltale games. That was The Walking Dead. The final season is actually coming to Game Pass, and that's a major plus as well. And then one of them that actually surprised me, and I didn't think it was coming out this soon, seeing how I just played it maybe a month ago, was Turnip Boy. So they got Turnip Boy Robs a Bank coming in 2023. So it's a small little game, but it is kind of like unique. It's not hard, I would say, but it's definitely something worth like quickly getting into, putting maybe 2 hours into and beating it. It's fun. It's a fun little game. Get your quick little 1,000 score or whatever and get out of there. So those things surprised me a little bit as far as those things coming to Game Pass, and I appreciate that type of stuff. So they did a good job with that. I hope they keep going and the games get stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much there. Metal Hellsinger, I'm not a big heavy metal fan, so I'm a little bit off that game, but I will give it a go. Mag, was there something that stood out to you at ID at Xbox that you were super hyped to see or can't wait to play?
Yeah, well, here in Canada,
Boys, you know that, right? I was seconds away.
Look, DoomCutie,
So
look.
Boba loves Metal Hellsinger, but Shooter said that he struggles with the music. So I think it does depend on if you are a fan of that music. But yeah, Boba was raving about it, and I trust his judgment on games.
Absolutely. Cutie, we'll go to you. What is it that you saw at ID at Xbox that was really kind of floated your boat, stuck out to you? Can't wait to play.
you know what? It was a really good lineup. I feel like I feel like I would try all of those games. I mean, obviously, like Turnip Boy is cute as hell, so yes, that's obviously happening. Homestead Arcana looks really interesting. I like the art style in that game. The aesthetics are very pleasing to me. Yeah, the Telltale game, that'll be the final chapter for Walking Dead, which is exciting. So yeah, all around really, really good. I was really happy.
Yeah, it was an absolutely fire show for an ID at Xbox. There's quite a bit there that a lot of these ID at Xboxes, when they used to kick them off back in the day, they used to be quite, kind of slow, boring, didn't expect much. But they've really improved over the years, and I think that says more for game development than it does for Microsoft. Mag, are you with us?
He's on the toilet.
Mag has dropped out. No.
I don't know.
The great thing about ID at Xbox is it reminds me of the summer of arcade that Xbox had during the 360 games. And,
Yeah.
they really they just dropped the ball with that. It was there were so many amazing games that they showcased, and I feel that ID of Xbox has sort of rejuvenated that passion that we have for indies. And yeah, I absolutely love it.
As well as Game Pass. I think Game Pass has really stepped up to the plate and basically made it accessible, more indies accessible to people so they can play these games, because there's a lot of indies that I would never have touched and now love, like Far Changing Tides was one of my games of the year. That was released this year, and I loved it. Loved every second of that game, and I wish it went for longer. And I'd never have played that. I would never have bought that, and I'm just glad that Game Pass kind of brought that to the forefront for me.
That's interesting, by the way, Risk, because you're right. And I know Bushido was a big fan of that one, too. I played a bit of it. I didn't get all the way. I played maybe 40 minutes of it. I got to get back. But I did like that, too. But it's interesting because you're right. It's plenty of games that I've been turned to that I never would have touched. For instance, we got Mutant Year Zero that came out on Game Pass, right? A little indie game, strategy, strat type game. And I don't play those types of games. And I loved that game. And those people, I forgot the name, the Bearded something, the developers, they have a game coming out now that was shown at the Tokyo Game Show called Miasma Chronicles. I actually posted about it on Twitter sometime back.
It's about people with asthma?
Excellent. Miasma, to be specific. It's about you. My asthma on you. No, but yeah, so they have that coming in. It looks great. But you're right. Those things are tuned. We get tuned to that because of Game Pass. So, it's even more so outside of the AAA offerings you'll get. It's because of all these different experiences you can get through Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've even got little games like this coming to the forefront as well. Moonscars looks absolutely amazing to me. I can't wait to play that, and that's coming, I believe, on the 27th as well. Look, we will move on unless Mag is with us.
Mag is back, I believe. Yep.
Mag is here, but Mag has to leave. Duty is calling now, so it's getting to that point of the evening, folks.
Copy that.
Let's sneak in something here. What do you got going on?
Well, look, we'll move on to the PlayStation showcase.
For Christ's sake. Okay, perfect way to end it. Yeah.
Hey, you're getting the VR too. What games from the showcase are you going to play?
Yeah,
on your VR too?
What stood out to you, Mag, at the PlayStation showcase? Because for me, obviously, it's God of War. Basically,
that was it.
Everything else,
that was it.
Yeah, there was nothing there for me.
Thank you. You know what? I think we're on the same wavelength. Listen, here's the thing. I'm not, other than Capcom, I'm no longer a fan of Japanese games. I don't know whether I just kind of grew out of it. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Like, I grew out of it, like, once you're mature, you don't play Japanese games. For me, they just don't speak to me anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I listen to the like the storylines and the ridiculous hair and the outfits and the like whatever. I just can't get into it. First of all, I'll tell you something else. I detest anime. That's another thing. So like whenever there's an anime, like what the hell is that? I'm probably pissed off like half the gaming world just with that sentence. Like Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
I'm with you.
I think Dragon Ball Z is literally the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking effing life. And like for example, like I'll be talking about I don't know, like Superman or something, right? I'll be like, oh, I mean that's ridiculous too in its own respect, right? Like if you're from somewhere else and you're like Superman, that's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Sure. But I'm like talking about something like, oh yeah, well, Superman, no one could really fight him or this and that. And then some guy will come out and be like, Goku can. I'm like, who? I'm like, what is that, a sushi dish? I'm like, who is this guy? Anyways, the point is, I'm not into anime. I don't like that stuff. So when they were showing all these trailers and people were losing their effing minds, I'm like, what? Tekken 8 looked like it was playing on a PlayStation 3. Like it did nothing for me. Like I said, I'm going to insult the shit out of it. And then, like, let me tell you something else. Here's another thing I don't like about Japanese games, except for Capcom. Okay, because Capcom makes Resident Evil games. They're not, in my opinion, they don't come across Japanese in style, right?
I would also add From Software to that, Mag.
No, I can't. Yeah. Sorry, From Software. They play very Western. In terms of like but the thing is, at the end of the day, though, it's kind of funny. The stories are still utterly ridiculous. Like, can someone actually tell me what the story of Elden Ring was?
The story in there, if you can find the story.
Someone please lie to me.
Yeah.
Someone please lie to me and tell me they know what the story of Elden Ring was.
Okay, I think in a nutshell, it's a story about finding berries, golden berries for a tree, and there's a bad king that has them, and you go.
But Mag, have you
I had a taste about that.
With the big boob chick? That's all you need to know about the story, mate.
I had a space about
live in there.
Man,
Here's the other thing.
He tried to claim he knew the story of Elden Ring. I was like, get out of here.
Yeah. There's
the story. You know what the story of Elden Ring is? There was a very lonely gamer one day, and they decided to enter hell. And that's essentially what the story of the game is.
So Debbie didn't like Elden Ring.
I love the game, except I felt like I was going through hell trying to figure out that story.
Yeah.
The thing is, these people, I can't. It's like I said, I actually I have ambitions. I've never been to Japan. I have ambitions to go to Japan, to the country. But in terms of their entertainment, I'm just not entertained by it, and I just find it kind of silly. Like even if I'm like looking at Asian films, I actually prefer like Chinese. I prefer Chinese over Japanese. But anyways, that's just for like movies and stuff like that, right? But however, anyway, the point is, I just not my thing. And so I'm watching these trailers, I'm watching the show, and then I'm just like, I'm listening to the ridiculous music that they play for everything. Everything sounds like Genshin Impact music. And it's just some like generic like guy strumming a rock guitar playing over the same synth beat that they've been using since 1993. And I'm like, guys, Jesus Christ. How can you compare The Last of Us to that? You know what I'm saying? You play one of these ridiculous games with the dude's got hair that's 8 feet long, and then all of a sudden he's got a sword that reaches up to like the top of a skyscraper, and he's running around killing robotic whatevers and all this other stupid shit. And I'm sitting there going, what is this crap? And then you play a game like Last of Us, and you're like, oh my God, that just tore apart my soul. With beautiful music, beautiful presentation. And again, it might be a cultural thing. They might be looking at Last of Us and be like, ho, dumb Americans, or whatever. right? They could be doing that too. But I'm just saying, for me, it doesn't speak to me anymore. So, like I said, I'm not insulting it. That's how I feel. So, anyways, the showcase was a complete waste of time, except for God of War. Now, when I watched God of War originally on that stream, it was a stream from IGN, so the quality was crap. So I went back and rewatched the God of War trailer once they showed it in 4K. Holy good God, did it ever look fantastic on the replay. So I was sold. And the thing is, I know some people are saying like, oh yeah, well, it's coming to PS4, so it's just going to look like a PS4 game. I will respectfully disagree. And the reason why is because Horizon Forbidden West, which was also a PS4/PS5 game, Horizon Forbidden West is possibly one of the most beautiful games I've ever played in my entire life. If anybody's had the privilege or just the honor of playing that game, let me tell you something. It is gorgeous.
I've never felt the need to be bored, but yep, fire away.
Oh, wow. Let me tell you something. I did not like the first one. I didn't like the first one. I adored the second one. Okay, so I don't know if that will sway you in any which way or form. I'm just telling you, I did not like the first one. I thought the first one was boring. I thought it was slow. I didn't really get it, quote unquote. Forbidden West is so far my game of the year. That's saying a lot. So, anyways, that's how I feel about it. So, God of War looked magnificent. Everything else, I wasn't interested. PSVR 2, I am buying day one. I'm very interested in that. However, Cozy Beluga, laugh out loud. He just described 90% of Japanese games. Yeah, pretty much. That's why I don't like it. Guess what I like? The 10% from Software and Capcom. Anyways, the point is that the PSVR 2, they didn't show anything that I was interested in. Okay, so what I'm interested in is they're going to be putting Half-Life Alyx on there, by the way, if anybody didn't know that. That is confirmed going to the PSVR 2, which I understand is the definitive a VR experience.
Oh, is it remastered of the remaster that's was recently remastered? Cool.
Oh, well, that's not Last of Us. Come on, it's not Naughty Dog. But the thing is, what was the other one? Then the Horizon game was the one that takes place in the Horizon world there. That looks great. So I'm really interested in those games. So they didn't show any of those games at the thing, and nor did they give a PSVR 2 release date. So I was assuming, I'm like, if you're going to show Japanese games, because I know it's the Tokyo Game Show, but at the same time, I was just like, okay, well, you brought up PSVR 2. Why don't you showcase the PSVR 2 and get people on board or hyped up for it? Right? Because they said early 2023. What the hell does that mean? You know what I mean? We're almost in October, for crying out loud. Right, yeah. November, December, basically that's 2023. So where is this thing? How much is it going to cost? When's it coming out? When can we pre-order if you're interested in buying it? So they could have done that. I think they dropped the ball with that, and that's basically it. So basically, I gave the score a 3 out of 10. And I only gave it a 3 out of 10 because the 3 was all 3 points were for God of War only. Everything else for me got a 0.
I love it.
What about Rise of the Ronin? I thought that looked quite
0.
Rubbish.
Look, obviously, Mag does have to get out of here, and your takes are absolutely amazing today.
Yes.
So we will let you get out of here, and I'll go to you guys in the panel after we say goodbye to Mag. So, Mag, look, thank you very much for coming on the show, mate, giving us your takes and giving us your time. We know it is a bit of a lengthy one, and we really appreciate you coming on. Just let the people know where they can find you and what you'll be up to, what you'll be playing, what your plans are, and what you're looking forward to.
Well, Geet, I don't play Zelda or Mario anymore. Sorry, he's in the chat. He's just like, so I guess no Zelda or Mario for you. I'm like, no, I'm done with those games too. So my kids play them and I watch it. I help them along. I'm like, climb the tree, go to the left, press A, and then the apple will fall. You know what I mean? Like, I'll help the kids, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, y'all know I'm joking around at the same time too. Yeah, I don't like the stuff, but I take it too far. But that's usually what the mag does. Anyways, guys, you already know where the hell you could find me. You can find me on Twitter. Riskit just put it in the chat just now. I just saw it in the chat. So you guys know where to find me, and all my hijinks and all my shenanigans are there. Listen, I don't do the YouTube thing. I don't need the YouTube. Everybody's like, oh, you should do YouTube. You can make money. I'm like, I don't need the money from YouTube to do that stuff. I put it on Twitter because Twitter doesn't bust my balls. YouTube has way too many rules, and I don't like to follow rules. I like to make my own. So I don't like to conform to their system. So that's why I like to put all my videos and my content on Twitter for people to enjoy, hopefully, and to piss off the other people. But anyways, guys, it was an absolute pleasure. Guys and lady, You guys are amazing. Chat, you guys are hilarious. Actually, this week coming up, speaking of which, Monday night, I will be doing XNC with Colt Eastwood.
Oh,
And yes, with Colt Eastwood and Gaz from Game On Daily, we are doing a show Monday night. So you better check that out. That's a pretty damn big show. So that's one of the biggest Xbox shows out
definite
there.
fire.
The sauce
big-
and the pony.
Yeah, the sauce, and Pegasus will be in the same building. Yes, and actually, I've done a show with Game On Daily and Dealer actually about a month ago. You should go back and watch that replay. That was the most ridiculous podcast that I've ever done.
I gotta check that way.
okay,
I gotta
you
go
gotta
back and
go
check
back
that
and
one.
find
Missed it.
You know what, Meg?
Sure,
Thank
and
you. You've been amazing. Like, you don't take yourself too seriously, and I love it. So thank you so much. So
Yeah,
refreshing.
brother, your skits are hilarious. You see me all the time cracking up, and I don't exaggerate when I laugh about something. If I like it, I'm laughing, and you make me laugh pretty well. So keep up with that, brother, and we appreciate you coming through for us and gracing us with the Pegasus power.
Oh man, you guys, like I said, it was an absolute honor to be here. I had a great time, a lot of great takes, a lot of fun. The chat is spicy as hell, man. You guys, they're ruthless, man. Like, Jesus Christ, I looked down, Bobby Hawk's like, damn it, Mag, you need to just play some games and relax. I don't relax. Yelling is my version of relaxing. Anyways, in all seriousness, guys, have a wonderful evening. And for everybody in Australia, have a good day because it's tomorrow
Right.
for you guys.
Thanks,
So,
heaps, Mag. Appreciate it, brother.
yeah,
Gotcha.
you guys
Thanks,
have a
bud.
great night. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Catch you
You
later.
too, brother.
Kitcha. Well, okay, look, we'll move on. Before we do, just guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new here. And look, I'm gonna go to Cutie about PlayStation's very interesting, uninteresting.
Oh, you know what? I'm very much with Mag. There wasn't much there that I really thought, oh yes, I'm definitely going to play that. And the fact is, unless it was coming to Game Pass, I probably wouldn't give it a try. It's as simple as that. Obviously, people know I'm a big Hogwarts Legacy fan, so it was nice to see more gameplay in there. Although that quest and dungeon that they have put in there is exclusive to the PlayStation version of Hogwarts Legacy. I will be able to play it because I've bought both the PS5 version and the Xbox version. So because I'm a big fan. It's got nothing to do with consoles. It's got to do with the franchise of the Wizarding World, and that's where I stand on that. And obviously God of War. I know you guys didn't like the controller. I liked the controller.
Look cheap, boring.
That controller looked really, really boring.
Really?
I think they could have done much better with that. Yeah, they could have put in the Leviathan X design on it. They could have put like the little symbols all over it. They could have done all of that, like in white. They could have had the blue with the white counterparts being like the white symbols and such, and lettering, in Norse or whatever they wanted to put in. They could have done so much more with that. It looks like they just, here you go, you'll buy it. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. I found it exactly the same way. Everyone's saying toxic cutie in the chat. Not very nice. People. Look, I agree with you. Umbra is pretty it's pretty rough. But look, I'm gonna jump over to Pete. Assuming Cutie, there was nothing else in the show that interested you?
No. But yeah, I liked hearing Atreus' voice. That was really nice. Seeing a bit more from his side, and I really am interested to see where the story goes. It's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. That's the only thing in that show that I was super excited for. But Pete, I know there was a couple of things there for you. What caught your eye? Are you going to be buying a PlayStation 5 for any of the games that you saw?
Not anymore. Not with the prices they just released in Australia. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's even more than recommended retail price. I'm sorry, I'm not paying $900 to play one game. I'm just not going to do that. Not when I have a more powerful Series X in Game Pass. I just won't be doing it. And it's a shame because I'm going to miss out on so many great games, and it's going to be really hard to play the fantastic game God of War Ragnarok on a PS4. I don't really think I want to do it. I mean, I could buy it for PS4, but I don't really think I want to do it, especially now that I'm used to that 60.
You need to find a friend and borrow their console. Or
Should we go to Fight Night? Should we just go to Fight Night, and then if I win, you buy the console?
No.
Wait. If he wins, you have to buy him the console.
Ooh.
Hey, hey, you know how they do it in the olden times. Let me be your champion.
No,
Sweet.
definitely
I'll
not,
fight
mate.
for you.
No, that is definitely not happening.
I also bought Tekken 7 recently, and I didn't play it much, but I quite enjoyed it, so Tekken 8 stood out to me. But the game of the show for me, and one I'm really, really disappointed about, is Rise of the Ronin. And I just downloaded Wulong. Look, I've really loved Team Ninja. I love their games. I have ever since I played Ninja Gaiden back in the day. It's what got me into From Software games. That feeling you get from winning, I think, is unmatched. And so I was hoping that Team Ninja had turned the page when they put Wulong on Xbox and they were no longer going to be doing PlayStation exclusivity. And I was very, very disappointed to see Rise of Ronin and them going back to that PlayStation exclusivity. Really, really, really disappointed with that. And it's such a shame because the game looks absolutely amazing. Another one that looked fantastic for two very big reasons was Stellar Blade. But look, that game, it's also annoying. It was Project Eve initially, and when it was first announced, it was announced on everything, on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and now it has been renamed to Stellar Blade and is now also a PlayStation exclusive. So yeah, more money-hatting Sony nonsense. I don't like it. I won't be playing them, at least for, the foreseeable future. And yeah, I mean, they look great, and I am happy that PlayStation gamers do have something to talk about other than crying about Activision and losing Call of Duty.
Yeah, look, absolutely. But on that, now that you've kind of taken it there, isn't it really kind of odd to have this environment that we're in, this time that we live in, where they complain about that, yet they show you a show where they've changed the name of a game from Project Eve to whatever the hell it's called now, Stellar Blade, just so it could go exclusive. I mean, I'm sure that was in there, and then show you the side quest for that, whatever that terrible looking wizard game is. And
Shots fired.
Don't we live in an odd world where they can just be like, oh, this is great, and then, oh no, you can't buy a publisher and have exclusive games. That's not fair on gamers. Just absolute nuts. Umbra, I'm going to go to you and just if you want to riff off that or want to let us know what your favourites you saw, because I know you are into your Japanese games. I very much stand with MAGG. I'm glad he said it because I don't have to, especially when he started ripping into Goku. You know how I feel about that, Umbra.
Yeah, you guys, unfortunately, you guys are uncultured. It's okay. It is what it is. Yeah, as far as the VR stuff, I'm going to tell you, even with the Horizon stuff, as nice as it looks, that can suck a fat egg. I have no interest in VR, so that does nothing for me. All of that, none of it does anything for me. So I'm going to just get that out of the way. And I'm sure that, for those who like VR, hey, more power to you. It does nothing for me. I have no interest in playing gaming that way. As far as the state of play itself, if I had to rate it, I would probably say, actually, I'm conflicted because I went up and down when I thought on it. At first, I gave it an 8, then I gave it a 9 because of God of War. Then I went back and thought about it and said, well, you know what? A lot of these games are multi-plat. Should I be giving them pluses for something that is going to be also coming to Xbox? I don't know. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard. If we had to go off presentation and it being 20 minutes, then they deserve an 8 or a 9 because it showed nothing but game after game after game. So you have to give them credit for how they ran the show at the very least. And, some people don't want to be fair like that, but you have to. It's the same thing that played out.
How many exclusives were there, just out of interest?
I don't know. Let me look into that.
There was 2.
Was it only 2?
Mm-hmm.
Including the VR and everything? Because I know they shut up the Horizon.
We're not including VR. Come on.
Well, you got to include that. You got to, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Whatever. Tekken 8 looked freaking magnificent, and that is an Unreal Engine 5. And I looked into it, and I thought that was just CGI in game, whatever, cutscene, whatever. No, they said that's actually in game. So obviously they're going to do trickery when you do power hits and stuff like that, like Tekken 7 does, and show a little small cutscene, deviation or whatever. But they said that's actually how the game looks and playing off the PS5. And with the PS5 being inferior to the Xbox Series X, you already know it's going to look magnificent on the Xbox Series X. I cannot wait for that. I'm a big time Tekken fan. I've been a Tekken fan since the PS1. So extremely excited for that. That looked great.
There was more than 2 exclusives. There was Stellar Blade. There was Pacific Drive or something like that.
I think he means like first party. Is that what you're saying? I think he means first party. Yes.
No, I meant games that look like they might actually be good. Yeah, but first party exclusives. Yeah,
and then Rise of the Ronin. So I
Rise of the Ronin. Yeah, Rise of the Ronin looks excellent. To me, I'm going to be honest, I think it looks a bit better than Wolong. I'm going to be honest with you. And I
agree, mate. I agree.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks like what Assassin's Creed Japan, like we wanted it to be. Like that's what it seems to be the case for me.
I've actually been playing Wolong. I do have some footage of it. I probably won't chuck it up, but I was spending a bit of time on it, and I just felt that it was too long.
Wow.
Tomatoes, get them out. Hey, post tomatoes in the comments, everybody. Post tomatoes for Risket. So we got unfortunately got background noise. I hope you all are not hearing that. Sin Duality looks pretty great from Namco, Bandai Namco. By the way, Bandai Namco deserves tons of praise for continuously putting their games on all platforms. Where we have Square Enix, who has pretty much abandoned Xbox outside of a game or two. What is it? The Final Fantasy Crisis Core. That's it. So Square can suck off. And on top of that, they had Octopath Traveler 2 announced and skipped us after praising its success and sales on Xbox for the first one and Game Pass. What the hell? And I put in over 250 hours into that game, by the way. So I'm not just saying this to say it. That right there sucks that they did that. I do not understand them. If you're going to be with PlayStation like that, just get acquired and be done with it. So they showed off, obviously, the biggest star of the show was God of War. Let's be clear. That looks great. I wouldn't say it looked PS5-ish. I just think it looked really damn good. I think it could be done on a PS4. And because we've seen Horizon. If Horizon can be done on both, that can be done on both, no problem. And so it looks really good. I love the dialogue too. I think we all agree with the death can have me when it's earned it. We all love that. So I think that's going to be excellent. I think it's going to challenge Elden Ring for Game of the Year. So I'm really excited for it, man. I think that looks good. But Risk, once we have our fight night fight, you can cover that $10 fee for me and I'll be all good to go.
Definitely not. I definitely will.
Drunk on power.
Once we've had the fight, you'll be buying your $70 game. So I was messing about in the chat there, guys. You guys in the chat are absolutely amazing. You really do power the show every week, and you do give us a laugh. Even Mag pointed out how funny you guys are. You guys are amazing. You really, really are. You give me a giggle every week. I don't always get a chance to interact in there because I'm trying to get stuff up on screen and do stuff, but I do read as much as I can. And like I said, you guys are amazing. Listen, we are going to move on to the final topic of the show, and we do have an announcement, a very big announcement at the end of the show, so do stick around for that. I just wanted to bring this one up. Very interesting. Tokyo Game Show. Right. For me, again, there was nothing. I know for Umbra that there was probably a lot. Maybe even Doomy got some stuff out of it. I've been a bit busy this week, so I haven't had a chance to game on the worst console. I've been on PlayStation. No, only kidding. Look, there wasn't a whole lot there for me. And we talked about this last week on the show with Randall Thor. And I'll just throw out there, guys, next week we've got Colt on the show. But we talked about this with Randall Thor, and Colt did bring this up in one of his videos, which kind of got me thinking, and I did do a bit of research on this, about Deathloop coming. And in the contracts, it did speak to me that it would come in September. So I kind of nailed that. I'm just putting it out there. Victory lap, drunk on power, all that stuff, whatever. But I'm just like, I got something right. Anyway, that aside, we were absolutely right. Randall Thor was bang on with the date. Like, he nailed the date to the wall. It is coming on the 20th, and I'm super excited. And guys, I think the reason I am so super excited, because Deathloop doesn't speak to me as a game, the type of game that it is. I think it's a bit of a niche game, and a lot of Arcane's games are. However, this is the first Xbox games we're going to see with FSR. If you don't know what that is, that's Fidelity Super Resolution. And it is active now on the GDK. And I also think that we may see what's playing on the screen now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, with FSR, because they are using contrast adaptive sharpening, or CAS, on the PlayStation 5. But FSR is not available on PlayStation 5. And I think Deathloop is the first one we're going to see. And I'm super excited to see what that can do, and how that boosts the frame rate stability. And for me, starting to see some of the tools being used by developers is just fucking exciting, because once they start, things are only going to get better and more tools are going to become available. And so, look, I'm going to kick it over to you, Pete, because I know that you weren't super excited for the Tokyo Game Show, but again, I'll give you a caveat. It's really good to see Xbox reaching out and bringing more Eastern developers in, and it is needed, because there obviously is a market for that. I think I'm probably in the minority, not the majority. So, Pete, what did you think of the show? Are you super excited about Deathloop?
Yeah, so Umbra, truly, Mr. Inferno, Huggy, Blood Wolf, all of us got together and we had a little bit of a watch party for TGS. It was on a great time for us in Australia.
Yeah, I wasn't invited. No.
Doomy was invited, but she just flaked
At
on
last
us.
minute.
Yeah,
At last minute.
so unfortunately, she doesn't want to hang out with us guys. But that was, and Chili pointed out, that was probably the best thing about the show. But there wasn't anything for me personally, because I don't really get into those Japanese style games, but just hearing the enthusiasm that someone like Mr. Inferno had for the show really made me enthusiastic. Long has it been known that Japanese games haven't really had a place on the Xbox. It's basically been the Western console, and I know Phil's really been trying to change that, and I think it showed in at Tokyo Game Show. So many games are announced, like games like Persona 5 that we thought were never going to be coming to Xbox, and now coming to Xbox. And not only are they coming to Xbox, it's going to be on Game Pass too. There are a lot of announcements like that. So I was loving the enthusiasm from people like Mr. Inferno, from casuals. So every time something was announced, he was straight onto the Twitter chat talking about how good it was. And that's really exciting. It opens up the Xbox to a brand new audience that are into anime, that are into those Japanese games. And so although there wasn't anything for me, apart from the Deathloop announcement, then I did really enjoy it just because of the watch party.
I wasn't invited either. Anyway, look, I'll kick it over to the rest of the panel. Umbra, what did you think of the show? Because I know that you do get into your JRPGs, you get into this Japanese style of gaming. So for you, I know that there was a few things there, and I'm super happy, man. I'm super happy that people were excited for it. It's not for me, but I can still be happy for other people.
I was very excited. I think, for one, I love the push that, I just want to say, I love the push that Phil and team are doing. He stuck to his word when they said that they were going to make a bigger effort in the Asian market, and they've done that. They've done it. They're clearly moving that way. They have over 250 development partners over there between Japan and Korea and China. I'm loving it. And because we get more diversity that way. And, I think you all have to kind of expand your horizons a bit. I do get some of the stylings of the Eastern style might rub you the wrong way on some things, but you got to put down that Western mindset sometimes and kind of venture out. What I would say is that I love Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch remastered. I'm playing that now. That came through. It's on Game Pass right now. You got Danganronpa V3. You got Assassin's Creed Odyssey was announced. We knew that was coming though. You got Fuga Melodies of Steel, and you have a few things coming that I probably have no interest in, like that Dyson Sphere thing, Pete. I was like, nope. I have no interest in that. That's PC only, I believe, though. But they also announced a few fighting games. They got Guilty Gear Strive, Blaze Blue, coming over, Cross Tag. They have so those two fighting games coming over, and those are notoriously ignored Xbox. So these are great things that's, pushing us towards parity. And because once that happens, and if it's embraced over here, that means future games of those things in the series, or it just lets other developers know, hey, there is an audience for you over here. You do not have to ignore us like you had traditionally been doing from the 8th and 7th, possibly 7th. Well, I won't say 7th. Let's say
However,
some of the 7th.
Some may
and 8th
argue
gen.
that them ignoring you traditionally is very Japanese because they're big into tradition. So I'm just saying.
That is true. That is true. I mean, they have the Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom coming next year, and they have Persona, of course, as we all know. And those are big things. Deathloop was probably, I'll say this: when we watched it, it was nice having it with the fellas, and we chatted up. Cutie, of course, turned toxic and did not join us with it, but it's okay. Deathloop was announced. We knew that was coming too. I just didn't know if it would be this month or next month, personally, because of the whole pre-order thing. It seemed like that would be like something they would do a month out. But yeah, Deathloop being announced. But I will say, and I said this when we watched it, and I think Pete remember, he agreed with me, where I said I thought there would be that big one more thing moment. And Xbox to me has, and they failed there. They failed there because even in the Xbox showcase earlier in the year, or excuse me, in June, they failed there. They didn't have that one more thing moment. And I think they need to start getting back to that when it comes to it. That does matter in the overall presentation of the show. And so I was expecting one more thing from them, but it is what it is. I still enjoyed it. And we outside of that, I would say, you got Pal World, by the way, which is basically Pokemon third-person shooter with guns. That looks pretty interesting, actually. I think I might actually give it a try.
Ruined by the community, and I think Jez and Colt announced that. I think it would have been bigger, but I agree with you, Umbra.
Yeah,
it needed one more.
That's
thing.
a good point. That is a good point. If they had we not like heard those things beforehand and possibly been as enthralled into knowing when a deal was struck, we probably wouldn't put two to two together so well. But yeah, since we do know, it's like, okay, game is coming all right, like we thought. Pale World though does look interesting. And you know what looks really good, Pete? I think we spoke on it too. Exo Primal looks way better. It looks
so
way
much better than
here.
it initially showed, didn't it? Yeah.
I swear. At first, I wrote that game off, but after seeing it here, I'm like, we got to get a little squad together for this one. It looks pretty good, actually. So that could turn out to be a little sleeper hit. But as far as that goes, that's one thing I'll say. Outside of that, in Japan, we also have the Sokenin franchise coming over to Game Pass. I believe next year it'll be dropping. So we got those coming too. So I like the push they're doing. They just got to go further with it, in my opinion. I don't know what's up with Square Enix, but like I said, they can suck off. I don't know what's going on with them.
Now, really, aren't they?
Pretty much.
Shocking.
They may as well just announce being acquired. You know, it's something I want to say this, by the way, because Vinny, our boy Vinny, he made a great point. He made a tweet about it. He said, I think Sony, the only reason they haven't announced that they're acquiring Square is because of this ongoing situation with the ABK thing where they're trying to go against Microsoft. And I said, that is a great point.
Yeah.
Maybe the fact that they haven't said it, is because of that. That would make some sense, actually.
They just acquired Bungie. Yeah, that makes it's 110% makes sense. Very, very, very good point.
You definitely weren't invited, but Doomy was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it my turn to talk yet?
Then why did you say that Doomy's not invited to me? It's weird. And then you said I couldn't come either. Doomy, absolutely. We are coming to you next.
You know what? Yeah.
No, I was just going to say it's great to hear Umbra's enthusiasm for the Tokyo Game Show because I pretty much had none, to be honest. But it's good to see other gamers getting games that they want to play, even if there's nothing there for me. Doomy.
Yeah. No, Umbra's right. Sometimes we do need to expand our horizons, but it was really great to see Phil and Sarah on there and all of the partners that they've worked with. For the game show, to actually see their enthusiasm and how much they love gaming. And, there are 1.7 billion gamers in that market. So yeah, if that's over half your ecosystem, then you're going to want to bring stuff that they like, yeah?
Sorry, I just read Steph's comment. He's such a moron.
The one thing that stood out for me, and it wasn't it was an announcement more than anything, but it was the Forza Horizon 10-year anniversary celebration, and it's going to be so much fun. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of the Forza Horizon series, and yeah, being able to celebrate this is actually really special. It's dropping on the 11th of October, so that's soon. And I'll be back from PAX by then, so yay. So I'll still get to play it. They had a little trailer in there, and it just went through like all of the hallmark cars and sort of moments throughout the series. And it's going to be great. They're going to have a 4-week-long celebration. It's going to include a new Horizon story, which details the beginnings of the franchise. They're bringing back some of the fan favorite music as well, with a brand new radio station. There's also a midnight battles mode that will reward cars for winning PvP head-to-head race events. So, and obviously in combination with different events that happen within the festival playlist will obviously be linked to them, and then you'll be able to get anniversary themed rewards. So yeah, I'm stoked that got announced, and that was the thing that stood out the most for me, just because I love it already. So yay, more Forza content.
Nice. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I saw you tweet about that. Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked to. I probably have to download it and reinstall it again because I took it out because I'm just running out of room for all the games that I'm downloading. So I'll definitely be sticking that one back on there. Look, one more thing that I was going to skip over before we go to our massive announcement. GoldenEye re-release going to Game Pass. So there's one for you, Special Nick. You definitely nailed it. And he's been cracking on about it for a while. But listen, here's the really odd thing. So it's going to Game Pass, coming to Xbox and Nintendo. Nintendo has a multiplayer online component, and the Xbox doesn't. It's just got couch co-op. I find that really weird. I think it's going to hamper the game itself. It's going to impair it. Apparently the controls are updated. I'd be really keen. It's going to 4K. The best version is on Xbox, but you just don't get to play multiplayer. I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought it was very, very strange. I don't know if anyone's got anything to say. It's not really a topic, more of a comment. Umbra?
I do.
It sucks. Yeah, it's no use of that, really.
No. Hold on.
Entirely for me.
Okay, but when you played, hands up who played GoldenEye when first released.
Well, you can't see our hands.
If you did, you didn't play online multiplayer. You didn't. It was only couch co-op. So I don't think
times have changed.
Yeah,
No. I know that. But the fact of the matter is, they haven't remastered the game. It's just in 4K, and I think that it's sticking true to the original game. I think people are like, "Oh, Xbox is terrible for not having the online multiplayer." Well, so it's not how you played it back then.
I'm not saying that Xbox is terrible. I think it's a weird choice. Xbox is the multiplayer
but people
shooter.
in the community.
Yeah, but I think
it's not a matter of Xbox or anything like that.
Because Nintendo has it and Xbox doesn't have it, so it's obviously capable. The game's capable of doing it, and
It's obviously a license that they just don't have.
Yeah, so Doomy, actually, that's kind of not true. What you said there, it actually has been rebuilt for the Xbox. But the Switch hasn't been rebuilt. They've just they've kind of ported it straight over to the Switch version. But the version for Xbox has been rebuilt. It's not like rebuilt from the ground up to, like with crazy graphics or anything. But they just couldn't port it into the system, so they had to rebuild it. And apparently it had something to do with that as to why it couldn't have multiplayer. I think it could have had it. It just needed the work put in. A bit weird. Maybe it'll come later. But yeah, I found it weird.
Nintendo don't really have that many online co-op games, and I think it has more of a chance of being successful on that platform, whereas the Xbox is dominated by multiplayer-centric games. And
it's not like we're starving out here for online multiplayer.
As much as the nostalgia will pull me into that game, because it'll just remind me of the days of playing with my friends at a more simpler time.
But Pete, that's the thing though. like the nostalgia will be there, and we'll get to play the single player, of course. But now, if you want to play it, it killed its life expectancy, though. Like it's not longevity is over with because that's a couch co-op situation, and most of us are just not playing it that way. So
Can I just
if
ask
we
you,
want
Umbra, if you would have played it multiplayer? Like, I could definitely see myself going through the campaign and doing the train level again and unlocking Aztec once you've finished it and, you know, those kind of things. I'm so down for that. I don't know if I would have played online multiplayer. I would probably just go and play Halo.
I would have.
Oh,
I would have. Now
I
I
would
wouldn't
have too.
prefer
Yeah.
Halo, but I would definitely played it. Yeah, get Odd Job, get the Golden Gun. Hell yeah, I would have played that.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how long I would have played it. It depends on how enthralled I am with the community and everything like that, and how fun it is over time. But I definitely would have given it a good go. I just think that releasing it as it is, it just feels half-assed. Honestly, that's the only way I can look at it. It just feels half-assed, especially after all this time. It's like, oh, here's GoldenEye, but you can't play multiplayer. Yeah, it's like it's been talked about all this time as one of the biggest unkept secret, like biggest, obvious secrets out there. And then you get it and it's like, oh, it just killed a little of my hype for it. It really did. I'm going to play through the campaign, obviously, and hear the little.
That's Cozy Beluga. Sorry in the chat to cut you off there. She just said the Switch can emulate local co-op, but do it online. Yes, that's right. Yep, that's what it is.
Yeah,
right.
emulate it. Yeah, we know. And there's still a unique situation with theirs too, how that works. I think I forgot. I read it, but it's weird. But I just feel like it feels half-assed. It does. It feels like they gave you like, oh, here you go. It had no fanfare behind it either, how it was shown to me. It was just like, oh, here, Nintendo, oh, you GoldenEye. I don't know. It just, I don't know. It felt half-assed to me, personally.
yeah. Look, I'm still happy we're getting it after all the licensing disagreements that have been going on so long between, the Bond license and then Rare and then, coming over to Xbox and then Nintendo not wanting to have it. I'm glad we're getting something. But yeah, it should have been done better. I agree with you, Umbra.
Yeah, hopefully they can top it up later on because, as you guys said, they killed the life expectancy of the game. Couch co-op is just not how games are played anymore. That's why they can pull couch co-op out of Halo and it won't kill the game. It's just disappointing, but if you pull multiplayer out of Halo, you just killed that game. So, I mean, it's pretty much what they've done with GoldenEye. I would have played it. I definitely would have played it with Umbra. If you wouldn't play it, I'd find something to play it with because that nostalgia is there. I mean, Odd Job. What is it that Skill Up said? If back in the day you used to play No Odd Job, slaps only, and then that when you were, it's all good. And when you were young, somehow that wasn't a sexual connotation. It's.
Does anyone remember? Like when you were playing co-op with your friends, you would look onto their screen because you'd get a corner of the screen, and you'd be like to check out where they were, and like everyone would be like, "No, we're not going to do that." Like, everybody did it.
Yeah,
absolutely. You did it for Halo too. I did it for CE. I was like, "Yeah, I see you over there." Three shots.
And then people would set up cardboard dividers and then sit on either side of them, so you could, like that kind of crazy shit. It's just such, a. You know what? I am going to address it. Dauntless, stop being a fucking dickhead for no reason, mate. If you want to talk about this stuff, we can go into a space and we can have a conversation. Serves us right for hyping it up. I've never hyped up GoldenEye, mate. How about you just go play some fucking games and stop causing trouble? You're a fucking knob. All right.
In fairness, you've blocked us and then you come in here. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, look, if you want to have a conversation, Dauntless, I'll happily bring you up into the show. You can jump in the Discord and we can have a conversation. Otherwise, stop attacking people in the community, mate. They've done nothing to you. You're just being an idiot.
For that.
Yeah.
And I hope you took Xbox Ambassador off your profile.
Yeah, because you're not one.
He didn't. He's a fraud. He didn't. Well, serves you right for hyping it up much.
Anyway, I don't want to harp on too much about that. I want to move to something more positive.
Let's move on, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't give me any oxygen.
Yeah, I want to move on to something more positive. And the last part of our show, the announcement that we have all been waiting for. Shooter, I hope you're still in the chat there. Has laid down a code for the game that you see on screen now, Modern Warfare 2, which is amazing, by the way. So it's one of the best codes you could possibly ever get. Honestly, I'm having a great time playing this game. We have our clip of the week. And he is going to be giving out the code for this clip of the week that we finally got together, finally chosen. And And look, I'm going to play it on screen for you guys now, and then we're going to announce who it is. Rock and roll. So this is obviously Chivalry 2. And I just found this one to be the best. And I think the guys agree with me. There were some really good clips. Everyone who did enter, like, your clips are amazing.
Yeah, there were some really good clips. It was a tough choice.
It was a tough choice.
I just wanted to say, truly, I was so close to picking yours, mate. It was absolutely fantastic. Loved it, mate.
Yeah. But unfortunately for Truly, this is the one we went with.
Congratulations to Rebellios.
It is
Thank you,
Rebellios.
everybody,
Yeah.
by the way, for sending in your clips, and everybody continue doing so in the future. You never know what we might do.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep sending those clips in. Once we get them through, we maybe won't do a clip of the week, but once we get enough, we will do a clip of the month, or we'll throw something down for that. Maybe a 3-month Game Pass or something. And we'll continue on doing it. But yep, look, guys, it brings us to the end of our show. Rebellious, if you're in the chat there, just hit us up. Shooter says congrats to the winner of my COD Modern Warfare 2 Vault Edition giveaway. Oh my God, it's the Vault Edition, which is a special edition. I would also like to announce that on the 50th anniversary of the show, I'll be giving away something to celebrate Xbox Infinite's 50th episode. Shooter, you're an absolute champion. I really appreciate that,
man. Shooter.
We're close. We're really close. What are we up to now? This is 42.
42,
so.
That's right, yeah. So thank
Shooter,
you very, very much,
also
Shooter.
donate. You can also donate to my God of War fund.
You won't need to,
God,
Shooter.
plugging.
My God. You won't need to. I'm going to lay him out on the canvas and you'll have to buy it. Look, it brings us to the end of our show, and I'll just outro the guys. DoomCutie, thank you for bringing the fire every week with your hot takes and your toxic cutiness. Just let the people know where they can find you and what you'll be playing this week.
I had a bit of competition this week between Umbra and Jedi. I think they were brought your A game, and you know, MAGG.
In the chat.
Yeah,
Cozy was awesome. Loving it.
No, thank you so much. You guys are always amazing, and chat as always fantastic. Love you all, except for everyone. And yeah, it was a fantastic show. I love having real experts and real people who know lots about particular games. It's always really nice. So, and you guys love it too. This week, I'm actually going to be away for half the week, so I'm not really going to get much gaming in, but I can imagine I will be dipping my toes into Disney Dreamlight, maybe some Fortnite. I don't know, I'll see what's on Game Pass. I still need to play You Suck at Parking, so I'll probably add that to my list to play this week, but you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Twitch, and yeah. I'm also getting my YouTube up, so we'll see how we go with that. But yeah, thank you all.
Awesome, fantastic, and again, thank you to Shooter. Thanks for the wonderful comments in the chat. Thank you to all you guys in the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. And look, I'll move on to JediKnightPete. Another fantastic week. Modern Warfare is upon us, and next week it will be upon us on Xbox, where it'll be the best place to play. What are you up to? What will you be playing this week? I imagine there will be a bit of a loop in your future.
Yeah, I really want to get through Immortals, Phoenix Rising before Deathloop drops in 2-3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I've also downloaded the Wulong demo. I really want to try that. I created a character last night, so I'm ready to go for today. Riskit has to keep sending me messages, everyone, to breathe, because sometimes I do get a little bit too passionate. As you might notice, from time to time. But I'm just laughing through the entire show. The chat, I mean, I can't tell you how much you mean to all of us. You guys are absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'm just cracking up basically the whole time. So thank you so much. Show is growing and growing and growing, and it's all because of you guys. It really, really is. Shooter, thank you so much, brother. You don't have to do what you do, but we really appreciate it. To Rebellios, congratulations, mate. It was a great clip. Everyone that sent in clips, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, another great show, guys. Absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely, I'll second all of that and co-sign it. Yeah, the clips were great. Some of them hilarious, and some of them just like crazy good. But that just was the tippy top at the top. Umbra, another fantastic show, another fantastic week. What a huge week with there was a lot in it for you. So I'm super happy for you, man. And just letting people know where they can find you and what you'll be up to this week. We'll be playing.
Yeah, man, this was a great show. We had some great guests, and you all were great as usual. Thank you all in the chat for coming through and supporting us and holding us down. Shooter, thank you, brother, for your continued donations to the chat and everything like that, and even for committing to the 50th show. I didn't expect you to say that, so I appreciate it. Hargeet, I know you'll probably get in on it again as well, so thank you just for the future. But yeah, and congrats to the brother Rebelios. I never knew how to say his damn name after all this time. Anyway, congrats to you, brother. And Risk, you've been sliding so damn much on this Modern Warfare. I'm like, did he scratch his legs up by now? How many times do you slide?
You actually go quicker if you can move faster if you slide. I haven't got my slide because man, I used to play a lot of Modern Warfare. I used to have my slide in like banging on, but I just can't do it with the PlayStation controller. But anyway, sorry, man, just interrupting your outro.
Yeah, it's a little more different. I'm sure it does look fun. I just don't care for multiplayer when it comes to Call of Duty, but I hope you all enjoyed. I hope it's great. Thanks again, Shooter, for that. And yeah, as far as where you can find me, you can find me on Twitter, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. You all look me up and make sure you donate to my God of War fund.
You might need to.
Yeah.
He's going down.
And of course,
He's gonna lose.
And of course, well, this knows what's going on. I'm going to stream it too. I'm going to stream it so you all can see this in glorious 720p. Anyway, yeah, and of course, you all can find me on Xbox under Superhavoc. And if you're like-minded, good people, not like somebody who won't be named, and please hit us up and join us sometime, and to get us some game nights with us. And of course, you can find me here, obviously, every Friday at 8 o'clock, and on Xbox Factor on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock Eastern.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. Thank you again. Thank you all the panel. Thank you the chat. And listen, just on that, just remember, like, everyone has an opinion, and be respectful. It's when you step outside that purview of respect that you'll see me coming after you. And it's been an absolutely amazing show. And we really appreciate everyone. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button on the way out. We'll see you next week. I am going to go play some Modern Warfare, or maybe I'll fight Umbra. I don't know. We'll set up this whole thing, man. We'll set up this stream, this 720p stream. Maybe we'll do it in 1480 so no one can, it's not as embarrassing for you.
I don't think you can do it 1480. I think it only goes to 720 for that one. I think.
Anyway,
but
guys,
now.
Let's try. Hey, why don't we try to do it after this? Unless you're probably tired. Actually,
it is on.
Yeah.
Hey.
I would love to, but I got to check in with the boss and see what she says. But if I've got the time, I'll definitely do it. We'll talk after the show. But guys, stay tuned on Twitter.
That seems like he's avoiding it a little bit.
Because I'm not avoiding. There's no avoidance. No avoidance here.
But it sounds like to me too.
Yeah, guys, look, Kat, I don't know how I deal with them either. Like, I don't know how I put up with this.
I will see you guys. Guys, thank you for coming. And that's it. We're done. We're out. Damn it, Bobby. Now I'm bored. What the?
Later, guys.
Fuck.